I don't necessarily know how that would work either. I'm just,
presuming you can catch the
fishing
person.
ball birding,
The last time, or one of the previous times recently, when they were hitting people up, they hit up Mark's wife, and on Telegram somehow. Again, how they're getting all these connections. Oh, I think we'd figured it out at the time how they found her. But anyway, they hit up Mark's wife, but the person had a phone number on their Telegram profile, and so I looked up the phone number and found the person's name of who was associated with that. Now, I don't know anything about how a stolen phone could be used in this. Maybe it wasn't actually the person whose name was on the account, right? But at least we had a name, and so Mark sent a text to that person, and of course they denied all, involvement in whatever it was that was going on. So, I mean, where do you even begin to conduct an investigation on something like that? How do you gather the evidence to catch somebody that there's a good chance it wasn't the guy in Boston or whoever? It could have been somebody in, Africa or wherever. Right.
Nigeria. The prince, right?
Yeah, could have been.
I mean, if you want to invest a lot of time in it, if you find out that person who has that number, right, you go and interact with them as the scammer, right? And have eyes on that person while you're messaging the scammer.
And see if they're doing something.
Yeah.
If you can find them.
Right.
Track them down somehow. It's all very, very difficult for, how much are you going to actually get out of this person? Right. There's a good chance that they're a drug addict, and I'm saying this because I actually had some interactions with a scammer. I got taken earlier, I think it was early this year. I got fooled by somebody on Local Bitcoins who was pretending to be another seller who I happened to know on Local Bitcoins.
Right.
Like the dude, I don't think he even knew that I knew this person, but he happened to choose like one of the sellers who I'd happened to have met at a crypto conference years ago. And so I didn't do my due diligence, and I got screwed over. I ended up finding out who the scam artist was. Turns out he's a doper in the Boston area who basically spends all of his money gambling and on heroin. So he doesn't have any money.
Right.
He's blown it all away. It's either in his veins or it's at the gambling, the Indian casino or the online sports betting casino that he was betting at. So what do? You can't get blood from a stone, so to speak. So just remember, if somebody's hitting you up for money on the internet, if you're not 110% sure it's the real person, just say no. More coming up.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, 401(b), or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their investment accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Talking about a little internet fraud because somebody is once again pretending to be me on the internet tonight, targeting Telegram users from likely public groups. At least that's what we believe at this point. Because how else would they get all the contact information for all these different individuals who are in some way connected with me, unless they've actually cracked my real account, and they haven't, because if they were doing that, I would see all the messages from them.
With a real Slim Freeman, please stand up.
Yeah, so if you want to comment here, you're welcome to. Maybe you've encountered this before. Maybe you used to be a scam artist on the internet, and you've changed your ways, and you want to talk about the tricks of the trade, so to speak. You're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number
is... Are you now a motivational speaker, where you get up in front and tell people of all of the evil that you went through during your youth, when you're sowing your oats?
At least then you wouldn't be scamming people.
It sounds like, motivational speakers, I think that's basically what they are.
Although some would say that
they're scam artists.
Are scam artists. I don't know. I think there's a place for self-help. I think that it can be culty. I think that it can be expensive, and I think there is a lot of, I'm not going to say fraud, but there's a lot of real questionable
and I think they're feeding
stuff.
Off of people who are experiencing a weakness in their own lives, and they're just, it's the same thing with with some religions where
Sure.
you have issues and you're trying to see the light, and you're just looking for the best motivational speaker out there who could chirp you up in the morning.
You're looking for a lift up.
Why do I have, what are my reasonings for being? And that's what those guys are, really doing.
Yeah, a lot of it is repackaged. It's the same old. It's not to say there isn't some value or some wisdom in a lot of these teachings. It's just a lot of it's repackaged. This is old ideas, old concepts that are just being promulgated again and again. Now, obviously, every new generation, some of these folks need to hear this stuff for the first time, but I mean, are you really going to get that much more out of a big seminar as you are reading a $20 book? I don't know. I don't think you can get, if the seminar is $1,000 and the book is $20, I don't think you're going to get
I think
50 times the value.
I think
out
it
of the
really
seminar.
depends on what the message is that is being delivered. If it's pick yourself up by your bootstraps and take care of yourself, take care of your life, take care of your situation, I think that type of message is actually good to go. I think a prime example would be the whole Peterson movement these days, where Jordan Peterson.
I've heard of this guy. Is he a motivational speaker?
He's more of a he's a
conservative.
He's a Canadian academic, and basically his argument is personal responsibility, and he's really popular with a lot of the youth, a lot of the millennials who are just they don't know where it's all going. And they've had everything offered to them on a platter, and they all have their trophies in their case because that's everything's been given to them, and they just
participation award.
Exactly, and they just don't feel connected to what's really going on out there. And his message is stand up, clean your damn room, stop complaining, and go find purpose, go do something, go get a job. And that's basically what a lot of people out there they need. They need to stop complaining. They need to stop
blaming others. That's
being
another one.
envious of other people in their the good that they have found in their lives, and take responsibility. And I like the guy. I think he's pretty. He's got a pretty good message for an academic.
Does he do seminars where he rents a hotel for a weekend and you got to pay $1,000 or whatever and you go and watch him speak, or is he?
I'm not sure that he. I don't think that's his racket.
He speaks for free at colleges.
He speaks for free at colleges.
Oh.
Yeah,
they don't pay a speaking fee.
He writes books. I mean, or at least he's got one good book out there, and I know that he's making money off of that. But
look, I don't behoove somebody for making money off of putting good information out there, right?
So, the thing that catapulted Jordan Freeman to fame, Peterson, sorry. Flub.
There's a lot of Freemans around. It's okay.
There's so many. So the thing
he stood up to the woke movement,
right? Well, the specific thing is that in Canadian law, there's
no free speech there.
Yeah, so they were trying to make it so that misgendering. Well, they made it. I guess this is the thing. So misgendering a transgender person is a punishable crime. It's illegal.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
does everybody wear name tags with his, her, she, they?
Some of them do.
So I mean, his thought was no. He made it very clear. I'm not going to do that.
Wow. Well, he made it very clear that he was not going to follow the law.
Right.
Okay.
If someone came up to Ben and they say, "Hey, this is how I'd like to be presented. This is who I am," he would be very happy to go along with,
I think he said it depended a little bit on, that respect isn't something that you just give out, it's earned. So I think for the most part he said he would, but he did not say that as like a flat out, absolutely, he said most people are deserving of respect, but some people aren't.
Yeah. And this is true.
I don't know. It's yeah, he's an interesting character anyway.
So did they ever arrest him or anything like that?
No. He just went through they.
I don't know if he's ever been arrested. It would make sense that he may have been.
So he's made a public statement that he's not going to follow the law.
Yes.
And they have not yet targeted him for it.
Yet.
Interesting.
I mean, he's had a lot of interesting encounters at campuses for sure.
Well, if you want to join us here, you can. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We were talking about, started the show talking about internet fraud, people behaving or trying to pretend like they are other people. In this case, I was targeted once again today, or rather, my friends were targeted. Associates were targeted, folks who know me to some extent or are in a chat room with me. They may not even know me that well. If they don't know me that well, they probably won't let me know that it's happening. But a lot of people, I had at least a dozen people probably before the show let me know that somebody was pretending to be me. They were taking Instagram photos from my Instagram profile and acting like one guy wanted to see a picture. A friend of mine wanted to see a photo of the fake person proving that they were me because he showed himself next to a Bitcoin ATM out in Vegas, which was a photo on my Instagram profile. And he says, well, do something silly with your hand in front of your face to prove, in front of the ATM. So take another picture in front of the ATM with like a silly hand signal or whatever. And then he showed a picture of me from Tokyo where I'm giving a peace symbol wearing a completely different outfit.
Right.
So anyway, if you want to join the show, you can. Have you been, taken by one of these online scam artists? What can you recommend? I would recommend, having been taken before by an online scam artist, I would recommend be absolutely sure. And that's getting harder and harder to do now in the days of deepfakes, where we now have technology to where if you have a person's one photograph of a person, they even did this with the Mona Lisa, where they took and they mapped that person's face and they used computer AI supposedly to generate. And then if you get enough voice from that person, you can generate their voice.
We were just talking about Peterson. They did the exact same thing. There's hundreds of hours of him, of audio of him, and they created a Jordan Peterson deepfake.
They made him say things he didn't say.
Very convincing.
855-450 free. So even if you're on the phone with the person, it may not actually be them, and it's just going to get worse. It's Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want here. The number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. How can you be certain that the person you're talking to is the person who you think it is? These days, it's getting harder than ever to discern. Johnson, during the break there, you pulled up a video of this Jordan Peterson. Well, it was an audio, but it was on YouTube.
Right.
And it was of Jordan Peterson singing the South Park theme song, which he has presumably never actually sung. It did sound a little stilted, a little robotic.
It was in his his speech pattern.
It was his voice. Yeah. I mean, they definitely...
But it was also his speech pattern, which is...
Oh, okay.
He kind of talks like that and has these...
little pauses.
Where he says something and then moves on to like he has that.
So they did a good job of it, you would say.
Yeah, I think so.
And the more of more speech from a person that you have, the better you can kind of map their words.
And if we're talking about video, the next step of deepfake is to actually do the same thing with the video evidence that you have accumulated of that person.
Correct.
And they're doing it on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I think they're doing it all the time.
Are they making their own there?
They're doing live deepfake swaps.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Who's one of these comedians? He can do the Schwarzenegger impersonation. They changed his face
to be Arnie.
To be Arnold live. It was
it
was spooky. It was it was so real.
And they've had the ability to do that for years. It's just getting
it's just getting better.
It's getting easier, it's getting better, and they don't need as much source material now to make a pretty convincing deepfake than they previously did.
And there's no telling what wars are going to get started.
Oh, yeah.
When some dictator that supposedly is all evil and is, throwing their people into gulag and whatnot, and we've got to spread democracy, and look what he said, look what he killed, look who he killed.
Right.
It's time to start sending the missiles. I mean, that's
scary.
Scary.
Now, maybe it'll get to the point where people start to learn about this.
No.
And they stop believing what they're seeing.
No.
No, you don't think that's a possibility?
People are stupid. People are sheep. People just want to be told what to do, and they want to get home from work so they can pop in whatever show they're interested in or whatever game they like playing.
Yeah.
Booze it up a little bit and go back, rinse and repeat. And they want someone to just tell them what to think.
I don't know. I'm a little more optimistic than you are, Conan. I kind of feel like if there's enough big news about deepfakes, like if there's enough scams where people are getting taken left and right and they start to finally figure out that they can't believe they can't even trust their senses anymore as far as what they're seeing on television, to completely make it so everything is questionable. I mean, it'll be an interesting world if that happens because you won't know what's real.
There are enough conspiracies out there, big ones, that people just refuse to even think about. With just so many smoking guns available to the people, and they just continue to believe the given narrative that government is good and they would never do that to their own people. And I'm like, no one's ever going to wake up to deepfake. They'll just believe whatever is fed to them.
What do you think, Johnson?
I don't know. I think that it's gonna get more and more advanced. So
that's for sure. I don't think we can disagree on that.
I think that it's coming. But
how are people going to react to it? Are they going to just accept what they see, or are they going to start disbelieving what they perceive as reality?
I think some people will start disbelieving, and some people won't. I think that there's already a huge sort of continuum of people who believe a lot of really stupid things.
Sure.
So, deepfakes are going to easily fool lots and lots of people.
Right. But once they're fooled,
we're going to have deepfake video of, the president saying, we are now here to reveal that the Earth is in fact flat.
Actually, that's not going to happen. It's going to be something like the first. It's going to be like the first Mars base or something.
Yeah, I do.
In the next 5 years, and the whole thing is going to be blue screen.
We have set up a base on Mars in association with the lizard people.
A huge base.
A huge
base. On Mars.
Huge. No, it's just who knows.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. If you want to join us, you can. Coming up, Conan, you've got a story that I originally wanted to start the show with, but I was literally in the midst of dealing with a scam artist.
Speaking of technology.
Google. And this is the good news. This is actually good news. That
as long as they don't fold.
Right. Google, which years ago, must be half a decade at least, purchased the company that was behind the app known as Waze, W-A-Z-E. I use Waze. Johnson, I think you might have turned me on to it a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm a big Waze fan.
I do as well.
And, the more people that use Waze, the better, because it's basically a crowdsourced sort of accident reporting, police reporting, hazard reporting app, meaning that it's otherwise just a mapping, a navigation app. You get to where you want to go, it tells you the turns. But it's also got notices of, hey, heads up, cop ahead, 0.5 miles. And then when you get to that point, it gives you the opportunity to either confirm that the cop is still where it was reported to be, or deny and say, no, he's gone.
And these are all user input. So
correct. Crowdsourcing is what they call that. So when you have thousands of people, or probably millions, I would imagine globally, contributing to this, you get a pretty useful piece of information. More often than not, when Waze says there's a cop ahead, there's a cop ahead.
And this is good for everybody except
the police.
Except the police.
Right. And in fact,
supposedly they're out there for our protection, but
yeah, right.
When they start complaining about these types of features, it's like, well, what are you really after?
Doing?
What are you
Revenue?
really up to?
I don't know. I'm concerned about it because Google has sucked up these features into Google Maps and has been trying to kill Waze.
Well, that's
forever.
The good news is that they're adding the police feature to Google
news?
Maps.
I don't know that it actually is good news.
No one who uses Waze except us.
Well, there's a lot of people on Waze.
I can get up when I can get on there right now, and I can see the people driving around.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Well, we live in the middle of nowhere. If you go into a bigger city,
but everyone uses Google Maps, and whether you like or hate Google, which you should all hate Google, but I mean, because
I don't hate Google. I have a mixed relationship.
Skynet. But no, everyone uses Google. So if everyone has this feature available to them,
going to be a huge
everyone
deal.
is going to know. Everyone's going to be inputting that speed trap that they see. And
if Google makes their Google Maps, Johnson, as the same as Waze, and then they end the brand of Waze, effectively it doesn't matter. They've just transitioned
except
the features.
for the fact that I can foresee Google adding those features and then removing them.
What would the point of that be?
Because they're so big that they're like, well, we can't do this. It's irresponsible. We've had reports that users have been using this to target police, so we have to remove this feature. They've had that
for years.
Oh, they'll say that the drug runners use it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Who knows? Who knows what reason Google, the now company that has removed its Don't Be Evil logo and has started being evil, will do. I don't know.
But they've been getting these complaints from the police ever since they bought Waze. The police have been targeting them, and with these excuses of, well, they're using it to target us, even though it's never happened. Nobody's ever used Waze to go and shoot a cop or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous, the claim that they're actually somehow the police are being harmed by this. What's being harmed is the police's revenue. What's being harmed is their ability to write as many tickets as possible, because if more people start to participate in this, the more people are using these apps, the safer everybody becomes. The crowdsourcing in this case is actually to the benefit of all of the users. So, I mean, certainly they could crack. It's not impossible. I wouldn't say that's an impossibility, but so far they have stood up against the police's demands to end that feature in Waze. And if they stood up with Waze, which doesn't have as many users, maybe they'll continue to stand against them. Conan, you do have a story about this. This is relatively newer news, because I hadn't heard until just recently that it started to show up in maps.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they've been going after Waze forever. So this is an old idea.
Right.
But this is a new article this week because Google Maps is getting in, and the police are not happy about it.
All right, we got time for you if you want to join us here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, speed traps. I think you got a right to know. You got a right to share that information with one another, and that's what Google has helped enable people to do. I think that's ultimately a good thing. More coming up.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, you can join us on the radio. Whether you want to talk about scam artists or whatever happens to be on your mind, you can take control of the airwaves. Joining you in the studio here tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And me, Johnson.
And Conan.
Also, want to make sure you know about local.bitcoin.com. That is a place where you can go without having to show identification, and you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash. There are dozens of payment methods, but speaking of scam artists, some payment methods are more likely to attract them. So make sure you are very cautious if you're going to be selling Bitcoin Cash. Make sure you do your due diligence and research and talk to some other sellers and see what are the more risky methods, because the ones that are reversible, for instance, you probably want to stay away from because there's a lot of people out there stealing credit card info and stuff like that, PayPal logins or whatever. So you do need to do your due diligence, but there is definitely some money to be made. I know that Aria is the #1 seller on local.bitcoin.com. She's our Monday night co-host. So you can check her out. If you're looking to buy some Bitcoin Cash, she can definitely help you there. Local.bitcoin.com. If you're a buyer, you're usually safer, but you're always safer if you go with a seller that's got ratings. If you go with a seller that's been there and it's got some trades under their belt. But again, there's no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So head over to local.bitcoin.com and get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. As we continue here, Conan, you were about to get into a story about Google and Google Maps taking on some of the more noteworthy features of an app called Waze that Google had the, I would say, good foresight to purchase several years ago. Now, some would say that Waze is actually worse off because Google has arguably been neglecting Waze. It hasn't really gotten much in the way of upgrades.
Yeah, it's typical buy out a company that's competing with you.
Right.
And then just let it die.
Well, Waze has not died, that's for sure. In fact, Johnson, you just pulled up the numbers showing over 100 million downloads, and that's just on the Android platform of the Waze program.
Is that worldwide?
No, when I say 100 million downloads, that was not just on the Android platform.
Oh, there's a total somewhere that you can look at?
Yeah, I was just Googling, essentially, and that's what it said. That
some website just claimed.
And is there any indication of how many users have downloaded?
I'm trying to figure
Google
that
Maps.
out. I'm trying.
Well, that's the thing. You can't tell because it's included.
It comes
on
pre-installed on everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless a person is using something else, they're probably using Google Maps by default.
Right.
Yeah. And Google Maps used to be included with every iPhone, too.
Right.
So.
And when I'm on my desktop, that's all I use is Google Maps for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, what was the other one that we used to use way back in the day? MapQuest. Remember MapQuest? Where you could print out the directions because you didn't have something to use when you were on the road. Although I am curious to see what Waze has as far as its Android downloads here. So according to this, over 100 million on Android, according to the Google Play Store for Waze.
Yeah.
So 100 million
and is that
Android.
per user or is that multiple devices? I mean, if you
I don't know. I don't know how to calculate that.
100 million is a lot.
Right. If I download it, cancel, and then download it, uninstall.
I mean, I've already installed it 3 times this year.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so I found some statistics here from an article that says over 3/4, 77% of smartphone owners regularly use navigation apps. Makes sense. Google Maps, 67%, is the most popular navigation app by a wide margin. It is the preferred navigation app for nearly 6 times more people compared to the second most popular app, Waze, 12%. 1/4, 25% of smartphone owners say they use their preferred navigation app because they believe it offers better directions. Over 1/3, 36% of smartphone owners use navigation apps prior to leaving their location. 34% use them en route, and 30% use them prior to leaving and en route equally. And an overwhelming number of respondents, 87%, use navigation apps for driving directions the most.
And how many people use them because they just want to know where the damn speed traps are?
Well, apparently not that many. If that many people in 2018, when this article was written, were using Google Maps overwhelmingly over Waze because that feature was not yet
How many
included.
people? I can go out in the street right now and ask people what Waze is, and none of them will have a clue.
They won't know.
They won't know.
Yeah, 6 times as many. So you are absolutely correct. Google Maps is dominating.
Dominator,
right. So this article is coming from gooddaysacramento.cbs.local.com. Police demand Google Maps remove new speed trap feature.
Yeah, of course they do.
Police across the country are expressing concern about a new feature coming to Google Maps that allows users around the world, and figure out how big Waze is, because this is Google Maps is worldwide, to track real-time location of officers. and a new effort to compete with the traffic app Waze, which is also owned by Google. Google Maps is adding new features to its update, including the ability to see where officers are catching speeders.
Nice.
Android users have been able to report crashes, speed traps, and traffic slowdowns right on the app since 2018. However, those features had been available to iOS users until last week, according to a Google blog post. But police organizations have called for Google to hold off on releasing it, saying it could tip drunk drivers off to DWI checkpoints.
I just had
encourage speeding.
I just had a mild news fantasy notice, or like a dream here, just
news fantasies.
News fantasy. I was just thinking, I would love to if the next couple sentences in the article were. Google responds by changing the icons in their Maps app for police to pirate symbols.
Or pigs. Quote, revealing the location of checkpoints puts those drivers, their passengers, and the general public at risk, the New York Police Department wrote in a letter to Google in February.
I'd like to remind the New York Police Department that at least every time I've ever seen them, DUI checkpoints have to be announced in advance, at least in New Hampshire. I don't know if it's true in New York. Maybe they don't have to. Maybe they don't have to announce them there. But there's always a newspaper article. They have to send public notice out some number of weeks or days in advance to give people a heads up about DUI checkpoints. So it's already public.
The National Sheriff's Association went even further, saying the feature puts officers at risk by letting criminals or even terrorists know where they are on the map.
Yeah.
NSA is supportive of the Google Waze app, but is empathetically opposed.
NSA? National Sheriff's Association, I'm sorry.
But is empathetically opposed to the police locator feature within this app. The NSA said in a statement there is no moral, ethical, or legal reason to have the police locator button on this app.
Oh, it's all moral and ethical. It's all moral, ethical, and legal in order to protect you from these immoral brigands.
Protect your pocketbook, protect your wallet. Google defended its speed trap warnings in a statement to PC Mag. Safety is a top priority when developing navigation features at Google, a company spokesman said in February. We believe that informing drivers about upcoming speed traps allows them to be more careful and make safer decisions when they're on the road.
Yay!
End quote. So it sounds like in February, they were holding to their guns.
I don't know.
But this is almost a year later, and this is there, and that was Waze.
Oh, that was a Waze comment.
That was a Waze. So now we're talking about the new upcoming Google Map features.
So has this been released yet, or is
I tried to figure it out on today, and I couldn't find it, so I don't know.
So it hasn't been rolled out yet.
I don't think so.
Sometimes what they do is they roll it out in sort of stages where certain users will get it, and then another set of users will get it, and then I don't know how they determine it, but it's frequently not all done at once. That way they can find out if things go wrong with a small set of people,
right?
Rather than just doing it all at once.
And do you think they would start in big urban areas first, or do you think they would start in somewhere like Keene, where there's only 20,000 of us?
Darn good question.
And one Uber driver.
No, there's two.
I haven't seen them.
There's a couple.
I haven't seen them in a while.
I've seen on the Uber map a couple of drivers at one time. I think this is great that Google is standing firm so far on this particular issue. Everybody knows the cops are lying about this. This is total BS, and I think
this is like marijuana prohibition. They're always coming out to the legislative meetings to talk about how marijuana destroys lives.
It'll grow breasts. It'll grow hair on your palms.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Something Johnson said about me being cynical about this. About Google buying up Waze.
Yep, they did.
And now they're having to compete with, they're still top dog, but they're having to compete with, this other app that does provide this service. Here would be the bad news, where they would roll out this feature, get all the Waze subscribers, and then in a year or so, drop it. After Waze is just completely, that's the cynical, that's the Generation X cynics.
They could shut down Waze and say, okay, Wazers, well, we've had fun, but now Google Maps will be taken over, and Waze will no longer be a functioning
app. In order to be responsible, we have to kowtow to the cops now and shut down this feature, because they're in harm's way.
And all it would take,
even though this might happen years from now,
and all it would take would be some drug runner gets through a police line or something,
or some cop gets shot,
or a terrorist.
Yeah.
white nationalists have been using this app.
That'll work. Yeah. Oh, that's all they have to say.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Hope they actually expand the features to where I can track a cop as I'm driving with the cop. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,504, silver at $18.04, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,717. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Moscow is dismissing President Trump's celebratory statements on the U.S. Special Forces raid, which allegedly killed Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, as premature propaganda. Detailing some of the dismissive statements to come out of Russia, hours following the major White House announcement of a terror leader's death, or what's become the Trump administration's own bin Laden moment, the Daily Beast cites Russian TV state correspondent in the United States, Denis Davidoff, as saying, quote, Trump has elections coming up in a year, and the announcement of al-Baghdadi's liquidation will add some points for the commander-in-chief, end quote. And more provocative is that the Kremlin has even rejected the rare praise that Trump personally heaped upon its military for its cooperation in the killing. Trump said in his Sunday morning victory speech, the Russians were very cooperative. They were really good. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Last Wednesday, U.S. Attorney General William Barr issued a memorandum to all U.S. attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and top-ranking Justice Department officials, announcing the imminent implementation of a new national disruption and early engagement program aimed at detecting potential mass shooters before they commit any crime. According to the Mind Unleash, citing the memorandum, Barr has directed the Department of Justice and the FBI to lead an effort to refine the ability to identify, assess, and engage potential mass shooters before they strike. Perhaps the most jarring aspect of the memorandum is Barr's frank admission that many of the early engagement tactics that the new program would utilize were born of the posture adopted with respect to terrorist threats. In other words, the foundation for many of the policies utilized following the post-9/11 war on terror are also the foundation for the early engagement tactics that Barr seeks to use to identify potential criminals as part of the new policy. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera, on Saturday, said he would reshuffle his cabinet after over 1 million Chileans poured into city streets across the country on Friday to demand structural reforms to the country's government and economic system. The move by Piñera came as the protest movement mobilized people in the capital of Santiago and beyond. Piñera made his announcement late Saturday morning. The timeline and plan for the replacement of ministers remains unclear. On Saturday, Reuters reported that a document obtained by the news agency suggested the president was considering replacing the heads of at least 9 ministries, including the ministries of Interior, Defense, Economy, Transportation, and Environment. Chilean Senator Felipe Cast, on Twitter, credited the Friday protests with prompting the decision. The protest began October 15th after high school students occupied subway stations in Santiago to protest fare hikes. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Supreme Court's sidekick, Kid Justice, is killed by mad genius Dr. Contempto. Thousands of elderly Japanese Americans are rounded up for an internment camp's 70th reunion, and a report confirms the habitat of Bengal tigers is now down to a studio apartment in Jaipur, India. As it was once prophesied in the weekly news recap videos of old, here now it emerges before your very eyes. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local man Matthew Hunker announced this week that he has such strong brand loyalty to Mazda that he's willing to kill for the Japanese car brand. Hunker told reporters that if he hears anyone say anything negative about Mazda's cutting-edge features, or if anyone places any other car brand above the award-winning line of 2013 Mazdas, he will, quote, personally beat them to death.
You think I wouldn't slit your goddamn throat in the name of Mazda? You think I'm f***ing around? Go ahead, say something bad about the top-rated Mazda 6, or the award-winning CX-5. See what f***ing happens. I f***ing dare you.
You think I'm afraid to go to jail? This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Whether you want to talk about Google upsetting the police once again by expanding now the availability of the police alerts feature that has existed in the Waze navigation app for many years. It's really the attraction, I think, for a lot of people to using Waze, is now available, supposedly, or will be very soon, because police are telling Google, hold on, don't let this out, we're going to get hurt.
I looked in the app, I wasn't able to find any features like that.
Yeah, Conan checked as well. So it has, if it's rolled out to a very small amount of people, but they are supposedly bringing it, and that's why the police are begging them to put a stop to it. And that's what you were sharing with us here tonight. Plus, Conan, we also talked about scam artists on the internet. If you've been scammed, you want to talk about it? I know it's embarrassing, but you talking about your being scammed can help other people try to figure out how to deal with a situation like that. I said I've been taken online before. It was actually happened to me earlier this year. And had I not if I'd done some due diligence, and I didn't because I thought this was the person that I was dealing with. I thought it was the person I was dealing with. I would not have been taken, and I was.
You know, we were. I was just thinking the other day of how many times I've actually called the cops.
Yeah. Okay.
Twice. I've called the cops twice in my life, and both times I was not happy with the results. But one of them actually had to do with fraud, except we're talking old technology fraud. Here we're talking about, having your identity stolen online or whatnot, or having your credit card stolen, your digits. In this case, I moved from one location and my bank automatically sent me some checks to my old address.
Oh no!
Which is why the hell would you do that unless I ordered them, unless I didn't realize I had checked the box saying I want these autos sent every year or
to
something.
The old address.
Well, anyways, the new residents decided to go on a check cashing spree and buy some pizzas and stuff at the local grocery store. Well, anyways, I realized this is happening about couple of weeks later.
Companies are taking checks these days.
And I reported it. I talked to some clown on the phone and all, and they knew who it was. They had him on camera, and then they told me what I had to do in order to take it to the next level.
And what was that?
It was just I had to go sign a bunch of paperwork and an affidavit, and I had to give them permission to look into my bank account and whatnot. And it's just like, you know what? And then they told me how far I had to drive to get to the
screw this.
I'm like, no, man.
How much money was it for? I mean, all total.
Couple of pizzas, I think it was like $50 or something. The first check, and I think.
Did they get it reversed? Did you?
Oh, and see that's the thing. So we're talking about how to fix this. What we do to fix this after it's already happened. It's usually just these credit card companies, these banks. They've dealt with this so many times.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
They get it reversed. They get your money back, and the culprit never actually gets caught because it's just usually easier just to get it reversed and hope
call it a day
and hope it never happens again.
Right. Well, in that case, the pizza parlor's out the money. They're the ones that got screwed.
I think in that case they probably I don't know who caught
those pies went out the door and they didn't get paid for.
Yeah,
they got pulled back.
I guess it depends on whether they had cashed the check, and maybe they had gotten the money, and the bank took the cut.
Well, no, it wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No, the bank's going to take if you reverse a check like that, the bank's going to just pull the funds right back out of the pizza parlor's account.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
sorry.
There you go.
Don't take checks.
Plus a fee because when there's
a bounce check or
for like a card for a reversal, like a chargeback.
Yeah, chargeback.
So massive chargeback.
So capitalism, no one likes the guys making the money. The pizza parlor, screw them.
The banks will screw the little guy.
Well, the banks are the ones making the money.
Yeah,
the banks are the ones that just rake it in, and they're totally, immoral.
Let's go to the phones here. We got Richie on the line. He's Richie Rich on our Discord server. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness! I was hoping you were going to screen me. I just wanted to talk to you off air.
Oh, all right, man. Stand by. This is why I should screen calls. I thought he was going to call in with a good scam story because he used to do local Bitcoins sales. I mean, the longer you do that kind of stuff, you're going to run into some scam artists.
Right.
Speaking of pizza,
I've seen a lot of them.
I want to be the back in the day when they bought bought those pizzas with the Bitcoin.
Oh, you're talking about the 10,000 Bitcoin pizza, Bitcoin Pizza Day?
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, now, it's good that you brought up Bitcoin because it's worth talking about if we're talking about reversal scams and scams involving bank accounts and things like that. The banking system allows for that going in and just pulling funds right out of your account, whereas with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, most of them do not allow for that. There are some, but by default, your typical Bitcoin-based cryptocurrencies, once you send a transaction, it's done. There's no authority you can go and talk to say, hey, I got scammed. I want the money back. No. If you get scammed, it's gone. And that's one of the reasons why you got these people targeting folks for Bitcoin. Because if somebody pretends to be Conan or pretends to be me or whatever and hits you up for money saying, hey, I just need 0.3 or 0.2 Bitcoin, I'll get it back to you.
Yeah, the bank's not going to honor that.
Well, the bank isn't even involved. In that case, if that person if you send a scam artist Bitcoin, it's gone. You may be able to watch the Bitcoin in their account and know when they spend the Bitcoin or when they send it, but you don't get to get it back. It's never going to happen. unless you can somehow find the person who it was and somehow squeeze the money out of them, which is very unlikely because these people are, in a lot of cases, I mentioned earlier, drug addicts or whatever. They're not going to have it. That Bitcoin's gone.
So we were talking earlier about what, call it a day. What are you going to do? Are you actually going to go after the culprit?
Mm-hmm.
What if...
And you chose not to.
Because it got taken care of.
Well, the money came back.
Yeah, but what if it hadn't?
You'd be out $50.
Well, no, I probably would have gone after the guy. I probably would have taken him to court.
Over $50?
Sure.
Okay. You're spend more in time and effort on that than
I go to court on stupid speeding tickets and parking violations. Right. So I'll take it. Yeah, I am of that ilk that I will take it to court. But I'm wondering if you actually wanted to fix the system and fix these criminals, if banks and whatnot were to not honor and just send you your money back and just take it from the pizza guy. If you were to actually feel the hurt, if more people were to step up to the plate and actually get this issue solved, I'm thinking that might be the solution. I'm thinking, but no, people want the easy way.
Well, the banking system is not going to change in the way that you're talking about.
Yeah,
it hasn't changed.
They want to keep their customers happy.
I mean, well, think about how old a technology checks are. I don't know when the first damn check came out, but it must have been more than 100 years ago, right? I mean, that's old.
These are it's an IOU.
Credit cards came out in the 50s, it's an IOU, and it's a set of instructions for the bank to retrieve the money that you are owed from the other person's account. There's a routing number on there. There's an account number on there.
This has been going on before Roman times. This is old technology. Yeah. Old.
And, it's not hard for fake checks to be... You talked about how you actually had real checks sent to your house, an old house that you were living at.
In the United States, checks are said to have first been used in 1681.
My God.
When cash-strapped businessmen in Boston mortgaged their land to a fund against which they could write checks. The first printed checks are traced to 1762 and British banker Lawrence Childs. The word check may also have originated in England in the 1700s when serial numbers were first placed on these pieces of paper as a way to keep trace of or to check on them.
Well, computing technology has certainly improved the speed of checks, but they're still not fast. It's still going to take several days or a few days at least in a lot of cases. Sometimes if your bank's really good, you might get an overnight clear of a check, but it's pretty, you never really know when you sign up for a bank account how fast they're going to be, and in some cases it could take, a few business days. So, nowadays you've got bank apps that allow you to take pictures of checks and sort of remote deposit them. So there's definitely been some advancements in checks, but the same old problems still exist with people being able to conduct fraud. I remember once I had somebody just completely manufacture a check and write it on an account that I was working with for Bitcoin sales. It had nothing to do with anything that was a real check, but it had the routing number and the account number down on the bottom of it, and so money left the account. We had to call the bank and have them pull the money back. And that's a process, and you got to be on the phone, you got to spend a bunch of time, and it's a huge hassle, and the whole banking system's messed up. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal, all with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back into your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to MyMagicMud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. MyMagicMud.com, FTL20.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And I found out the reason why Richie was in there is he was also getting hit up by the scam artist. I'm just going to bring him on here since you're still there. Richie, we actually opened up the show tonight talking about this scam artist who's been posing recently as me, has also posed as Derek J. Freeman, and who knows who else he's posing as. And this is probably what he does for his full-time job, because he's hit up, I would say, probably 15 to 20 people now at this point. It was getting like close to a dozen when I started the show, but I've seen even more notices of that. So what did this guy try to get you to do?
Float him about half a Bitcoin.
Yeah. What was he saying? Like, I left my my hardware wallet at the office, and I'm not going to be back there till tomorrow. That's what he was saying a few weeks ago to people on, I think it was on Discord.
Oh, okay. He said he had a client drive in from Providence. He went online. They wanted 22%. Wanted to buy some from me, but he's coming in as you. Yeah. Right. Like he's got your profile up there. Right. And I don't have your phone number directly, so I only contact you through Telegram and whatnot, right, in the group chats. So I wasn't going to send him anything without a voice verification, and I wasn't going to do that through
over
that
Telegram.
means.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about now with deep fakes, voice verification isn't even a thing anymore. I mean, like you said, if you called him on Telegram, he might have had some kind of deep fake where he could have faked me out. Since you're calling the Discord server, that makes sense because odds are he didn't take control of the Discord server. You probably are pretty safe there.
And I know I can hear the show on air, and I know you guys are on air, and I just wanted to hear your voice before I did any sort of transaction like that, especially that volume. And I knew I could catch you during the show, but I didn't need to be on the air to just hear your voice and verify that this was a fake.
Sure. Yeah, this dude's been hitting up a bunch of people, and we suspect that he's getting into Telegram groups that are sort of somewhat public, like the Forkfest group, which has 150 people in it. I mean, it's a busy group. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
We don't know who they all are.
Did someone actually mention that he called them? He actually called them and was speaking to them, or is this all text?
I don't think anyone's spoken to this person.
Okay.
And
when I messaged him, I said I need a voice verification.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do that, and I went, well, it would be dumb to do it, like you said, because the deepfakes through the same means that he just sent. So I know you're doing the show. I know the call-in lines work, and when I'm on, you usually screen the calls. So I just wanted to do that without actually making it on air.
Well, I figure a co-host, we definitely don't need to screen a co-host. So anyway,
I appreciate that.
Glad you were willing to talk about it anyway, because you know I was talking about earlier how I've been taken by one of these guys. Now it wasn't over Telegram where they got me. It was actually on Local Bitcoins, and I broke all the rules. The guy, managed to convince me. He managed to convince me to completely break all my normal protocols of being cautious and careful, and I got screwed over because of it.
So, and I am way too cautious for that. So I do my due diligence before and he does the thing where it's an urgent matter, right? It has to be done like right.
It's always urgent.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, it can be urgent for you. It's not that urgent for me.
Exactly.
I'll take my time. Before you muted me the last time, I do have a local Bitcoin dodgy story if you want it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was, it was going to be a fairly large transaction, 5 figures at the time. And the person, at the time I was selling, I was doing it out of my parents' house, right? Like I had, I'd get home from work, I'd set up my money counter, I'd get out, grab a soda.
You were bringing people in physically. You were meeting. This was back when Local Bitcoins was actually connecting people locally.
I only did cash. I did not do any bank transfers. I didn't do PayPal transfers. It was like
But people were coming to you. You were giving them your address or your parents' address.
Yeah. Right. And I wasn't too worried about that, number one. And if they wanted to meet someplace else, I was accommodated. Right. I've done it in the mall parking lot a number of times as well. But this person didn't want to come to me at the, at my house. And I went, okay, that's fine. There's a diner down the road. We can go meet at the diner parking lot or whatever. They drove out from wherever they were allegedly, and then decided the diner parking lot wasn't safe enough. So they said, well, I'm like, well, where do you want to meet then? And they're like, how about the police station? And I was like, not a chance. Not even close. Am I gonna do a cash Bitcoin transaction in the police station parking lot? So they were, I had real high feedback on Local Bitcoin because I was the #1 seller for a couple of months in Hawaii because it was, it's an arbitrage opportunity there.
Yeah.
And they had nothing. So I'm like, nope, sorry. You've already raised too many red flags. You're blocked. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And who does that in a police station, man? Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, good story. Hey, thanks for sharing that tonight, Richie. Anything else?
No problem. No, that's it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. It's Richie Rich. He's the host of The Anarchist Experience at anarchistexperience.com.
By the way, most stations do have the front room, the front part of their facility set up for those types of transactions.
What are you talking about?
I sell on Craigslist all the time, and some people, that's how they do it.
They want to go to the police station.
Yeah, right there in the front. I do believe our police station, the lobby, is set up for Craigslist transactions.
Really?
But most of the time, I just do it in the Walmart parking lot or something.
Yeah. You don't think that would cause some eyebrows to raise?
Depends on what you're selling. If you're selling Bitcoin, or you're selling
load a bunch
rifles,
of cash into somebody's hands in the police station.
But I mean,
lobby?
if it's something small, I mean, yeah. I don't know how many people actually take advantage of it.
Yeah,
actually use it. I don't use it. I've never done it. I've never been in there and seen anyone using it.
I thought you said some customers want that.
I know that there are. Yes, I know that there are merchants and buyers on Craigslist who do it. I have never done it or had to deal with anyone who's not afraid to come to my house here in nice Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Now, I guess if you live out in the sticks, it might be a little different. I don't. I live, somewhat in the city.
Coming up here tonight, we've got a couple different news stories that we definitely should get into. According to the Washington Examiner, poll shows a disturbingly high number of young people are willing to vote for a socialist. And Johnson, I think we should get into this free speech thing, Because you say you've got a story about a guy, an author of some sort, who has been railing against freedom of speech for quite a long time.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know what his arguments are, because the headline is "Speech has never been free, and that's good."
Yeah. This is a guy, he's written a book. I'm not going to say the title. I'll say his name is Stanley Fish.
Okay.
And he's been writing about this for quite some time, about the nuances of free speech and why speech needs to be controlled in various different ways. And that I guess he has this kind of belief that somehow putting limits on speech, I guess his arguments are that you are reducing the noise to signal ratio so that if you censor certain speech, other speech is allowed to come forward. So you're actually
helping.
You're helping, right? It's like that very sort of 1984 Newspeak kind of argument.
Yeah, good point. Who gets to decide what is censored and what is
he does,
good to
the guy
go?
writing the
this
book.
guy,
Fish, Mr. Fish.
Mr. Fish is he's very Orwellian.
Yeah, he wants to control what you've had a little bit too much to think.
So he's got an article written by him about this. We're going to share that with you coming up here in moments. See if any of us agree. I suspect we won't, but you're welcome to weigh in as well. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Divvy is crypto made easy. Anyone can use Divvy to securely and seamlessly spend, earn, store, or exchange digital money, the US dollar, and euros. Divvy is fast. Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other altcoins are languishing, the Divvy price has risen substantially against BTC. Now's the time to make a switch to Divvy or make your start with cryptocurrency with Divvy. Visit DivvyProject.org. Divvy is crypto made easy. Plus one-click masternodes. DivvyProject.org. Again, DivvyProject.org.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free and bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their retirement accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free, have your money liquid, and invest in literally anything you want to, completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS? And no, it's not a Roth. You can visit dna.freetalklive.com and learn more, and then watch Fortune DNA's pre-recorded webinar. It's free to do that at dna.freetalklive.com. Fortune DNA says you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back into your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. You can join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive. Visit dna.freetalklive.com. You can learn more and watch Fortune DNA's free pre-recorded webinar. It's dna.freetalklive.com. Johnson, this guy, what's his name? Stanley Fish?
Yes.
Stanley Fish. He is apparently anti-freedom of speech, and he's got an article he wrote over at medium.com that you are going to share with us.
That's
explaining why freedom of speech should not be free, why speech should be restricted.
Yes. So here's the article. He goes on here to say, the one thing speech isn't is free. There are costs to those who produce it and costs to those who are subjected to it. Of course, the term free speech does have a clear meaning under the Constitution. If you want to say something, you don't have to ask the government's permission, and you won't be punished by the government for saying it.
Supposedly.
But even if this freedom from the state interference with your speech has
good luck singing about like killing cops though,
well, yeah.
Because there's been some people who've been arrested for that.
He definitely goes on to lay out some of that stuff. He says, but even if this freedom from state interference with your speech has its limits, and it does not protect you in private life, where speaking out carries with it the risk of censorship and penalty. Supreme Court First Amendment decisions have told us that flag burning is speech, and that saying to a policeman you're a fascist isn't. If speech can be categorized as...
Wait, what?
What? Wait, I can't call a cop a fascist?
I'm pretty sure you can.
Apparently.
There's been a ton of cases where you can flip the bird, say F you. I'm pretty sure you can call him a fascist. So I'd be curious to know what he's citing in that case.
Yeah, I'm curious. I was kind of curious myself as I skimmed this earlier.
And that's settled. That's settled case law at this point. I mean, that's not to say the cops can't keep arresting. They do. Cops will keep arresting people for doing that stuff, and they'll keep losing, hopefully.
Yeah,
because that's what's been happening.
But apparently, there are maybe some cases where saying you're a fascist is not okay. I mean, I don't. There might be some different things. Flipping off a cop or saying you're a pig or something like that might be different from saying you're a fascist. I don't
think so.
I don't know.
What if it hurts his feelings?
Yeah.
I suspect he didn't put a citation next to that.
There are a lot of citations at the bottom of this, so I'll have to double check.
Okay,
but
later.
It says here, if speech can be categorized as a symbolic action because it has an effect the state finds distressing, and action can be categorized as speech because it sends a message the state wants to protect, isn't the distinction infinitely manipulable? How do you draw the line, and who should be authorized to draw it? Suppose we could answer those questions... Suppose we could answer those questions and come up with a generally accepted definition of what speech is and what it isn't. With that definition in place, is a citizen free to engage in speech without fear of repercussions? Not really, for there are time, manner, and place restrictions that limit your free speech rights by telling you, for example, that you can't deliver your message from a truck with a loudspeaker while driving through a residential neighborhood at 2 a.m. Neither, if you are a nurse, can you lobby for higher wages and better working conditions in the middle of an operation. How many of these...
Well, now hold on.
I think
he's already getting lost in confusing. And he started out by being clear that the government, has not as many restrictions supposedly than private people. He did mention that.
Yeah.
And then he goes right into an example of, the nurse is working, so therefore that's a private property issue. You don't get to have a protest while you're on the job. And then he brings up the restrictions on amplified speech. And, okay, that's something worth talking about. Should you be able to... is whether or not you have the ability to amplify your speech part of your free speech. And I think there is a strong argument that no, it's not, because you're then using other means to project that are not your own.
And the way I've always looked at that, it's pollution. It's a form of noise pollution where you're actually interfering with other people's lives.
Correct.
You're
literally hitting them with waves.
Correct.
Sound waves.
Correct.
I don't know if it necessarily what you guys are saying interferes with what his argument is.
Okay.
So the argument he goes on here to say is, how many of these restrictions are there, and is there a point when their cumulative weight is so great that free speech rights, at least in some circumstances, have been reduced to almost nothing? Let's assume, as a hypothesis, not a fact, that those questions too have been answered, and that we have identified the scope of free speech rights and a rough sense of the situations in which they can be invoked. Are we home free? Not quite, because inevitably someone will cite competing interests, the moral fabric of society or the mental health of individuals, and argue that they should outweigh the First Amendment in some contexts. In response, the strong First Amendment proponent will reaffirm the abstract principle and say that it should trump every time.
Yes, I will.
Yes, I agree. But how do we think about those occasions when allowing free speech to flow freely, no matter what its effects, causes harm to others? Is that harm just collateral damage, the necessary cost of doing First Amendment business? Is the First Amendment so basic of value that it must be upheld even when it appears to facilitate evil?
Yes.
Yes, it should.
That is the free speech that is most important.
Well, they're dealing with this right now on the college campus here in Keene. Have you heard about this?
Every college campus.
Well, yeah. And so somebody apparently, and I've heard this directly from Vincent, who's one of our occasional co-hosts who's currently going to this school, Keene State College, where they've come up with a free speech policy, and they're now hearing from people in the school and elsewhere about what they think about this proposed policy, which is going to have something to do with, hurting people's feelings or whatever. I don't have a copy of it in front of me right now, but this is one of the things that they're currently dealing with, and it was brought up by some people who got insulted by another person on campus, and they got their feelings hurt. And I'm sorry to hear that, that these thin-skinned individuals are unable to handle criticism or unable to handle, a mean person saying things they don't like. But, to trot out the old saying about freedom of speech is the reason why you have freedom of speech is popular speech doesn't need to be protected. It's the unpopular speech that needs to be protected, and that includes all of it. So even if you don't like, because there's some speech I don't, much care to hear. I don't like racism, for instance, but I'll still let those people call into this show because I think the best way to rebut speech I don't like is with more speech, not with actually shutting down that person's ability to say the things.
And how are you ever going to hone your argument against something that you don't care about if you never hear it and you never have the opportunity to rebut? If you just hit the censor button every time you don't like something, you're never going to learn how to actually have an actual argument, an actual conversation with that person, tell them why you disagree with them.
And he also touched on another important question earlier, which is who's going to decide. And that's a question you asked earlier, Conan. I was surprised he even brought that up.
Well, obviously, in the case of Keene State here, if they can just find enough thin-skinned individuals, enough of the plurality who vote one way or the other, they get to decide. Or this guy who's coming up with this silly argument.
Well, he continues this by saying, the First Amendment is a participant in the partisan battle, a prize in the political wars, and not an apolitical oasis of principle. Those who believe it is echo a remark incorrectly attributed to Voltaire. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. In other words, however loathsome and reprehensible an ideal or proposition may be, the core democratic principle of freedom of speech requires us to air it and forbids us to repress it. Sounds good, but think about it. The argument that the more despicable the speech, the more it merits protection makes sense only if we can be confident that when abhorrent views are given a place in the conversation, they will be exposed for what they are and rejected in favor of better views.
So who actually said, I'll defend to the death your right to say it?
If it wasn't
Voltaire. I got to have to look that up, because I always thought it was Voltaire.
It's a good one. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I want to have you repeat that when we come back here, Johnson, that idea, and then we'll continue, and we'll look closer at this. It's Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I'm too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I got this bald spot.
It's thinning everywhere.
I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude, put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts KIT88 to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text KIT88 to 85850. KIT88 to 85850.
Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing space, retail space, or more, call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. That's 800-965-1295.
Free Talk Live.
I look up on internet and tried to research some stuff that everybody's been talking about. And, you know, it's all true.
What?
It's true.
What is?
Everything that's going on in this country.
The heck are you talking
Everything
about?
that you're talking about, I'm talking about 9/11.
We don't talk about that.
Everything.
Yeah, you're being incredibly vague.
I know what's going on. I mean, people get in an airplane and they talk about, well, they were talking on this plane and they were doing this from that to this and that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Didn't work back then.
What is this and that? You need to be a lot less vague, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything, Dale. Everything is true.
Everything is true. Okay, that's going on in this country.
Yes, what I'm trying to tell. Everything is true, but they will not listen.
Everything.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. you have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. We're talking about freedom of speech. And it's, still under attack. It's always going to be under attack because some people don't want their feelings hurt. And I know it's no fun to have somebody saying mean things about you or saying ugly things about things that you like or whatever it is that is offensive. But it's a principle for a reason. And the idea is that we benefit from having freedom of speech. To have all of the ideas, including the really ugly ones, being presented as a benefit to society overall, that it's a good thing to not leave these things out, to not preclude them from being discussed. As I said before, I would rather answer ugly speech with more speech. I want to hear what the bad ideas are so they can be rejected, they can be understood, they can be, reasoned against, they can be argued against. And I think that's important. It's one of the reasons why we do this radio show.
And it's nice to know who the bigots are.
Absolutely. Let them show their true colors.
Exactly. And maybe even we're talking about honing your own argument. Maybe you would give them the opportunity to actually work on their argument as well. Change their mind. Maybe they've gotten it wrong because of bad influence, a bad family, the bad upbringing.
Absolutely.
And they've got it all backwards. And if they can never have the argument, if they can only get their information from Reddit or 4chan or whatever,
or if they can only speak in hushed tones among their own people that agree with them, if that's as far as their speech is allowed to go,
where it festers,
right? And nobody can ever rebut it. So we're going to get back into the story here from Medium.com. But first, I do want to invite you to LibertyCon. It's coming up in April, so you got some time to plan for this one. The April 3rd through the 5th, happening in the belly of the beast in D.C., and I know that's not a place where a lot of people want to go, but there's a good reason to go because there's going to be apparently more than 70 pro-liberty organizations present at this event. So sounds like it's going to be a pretty big deal. I've never been to this before, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. And big speakers, John Mackey, for instance, Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, he's going to be speaking on what he calls conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, the Nobel Prize winner in economics, will speak on alternative markets. Miriam Issa, who's a pop culture expert and political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views, is going to be there, as well as Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who spent 21 years as a risk taker before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. So it sounds like some really smart stuff going on at LibertyCon. You can go to their website, libertycon.com, and get more information about other speakers and what's going on there. Plus, you can register, of course, and use discount code FTL to save $10 off your registration. It's, from what I understand, a pretty affordable event to begin with, so that's why we can only get you $10 off. So once again, go to libertycon.com, use code FTL. Student travel scholarships are available, so if you're a student, you might even get your costs covered to attend this particular event, and discount rooms are available for everybody staying at the Marriott Marquis. Learn more at libertycon.com, libertycon.com, April 3rd through the 5th. As I understand it, we will be broadcasting Free Talk Live from the event. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. Johnson, just I know you said you wanted to jump back a moment and reiterate what this person said so we can pick it apart even further.
Yeah, so this last little paragraph was talking about those who believe it is, and what they're referring to is those who believe that free speech is a basic principle that must always be upheld. Right?
Yes.
Those who believe it is a basic principle that must be upheld echo a remark incorrectly attributed to Voltaire. This
You guys researched that, by
actually
the way.
from Elizabeth Beatrice Hall, writing under a pseudonym, Evelyn Beatrice Hall, who was basically summarizing what Voltaire's beliefs are. So it's not a quote by Voltaire, but it's a summary of what Voltaire actually did believe.
Gotcha.
Written by
labeled as a Voltairean principle.
Yeah. So in other words, so this quote is, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." In other words, however loathsome and reprehensible an idea or proposition may be, the core democratic principle of freedom of speech requires us to air it and forbids us to repress it. Sounds good, but think about it. The argument that the more despicable the speech, the more it merits protection, makes sense only if we can be confident that when abhorrent views are given a place in the conversation, that they will be exposed for what they are and rejected in favor of better views. Well, here's the thing that my comment on this, that this person doesn't seem to understand, is that if you believe in a marketplace of views, in other words, he's saying the argument that the more despicable the speech, the more it merits protection makes sense only if we can be confident that when abhorrent views are given a place in the conversation, they will be exposed for what they are and rejected in favor of better views. The thing that he's not really taking into account is who determines that those views are abhorrent. And if those abhorrent, the whole reason why views become abhorrent, right, is because there becomes a marketplace of ideas, right? So to not believe in freedom of speech means that you don't believe in the marketplace of ideas. If a view gains traction and becomes the most popular view, regardless of the nexus of free speech, right? That view, if it becomes the popular view, is not abhorrent. It is the popular view. So
yeah, right. So who decides again what is considered abhorrent? Because we might look at the idea that people believe in the state as abhorrent. I mean, the belief in the state leads to mass murder. This guy doesn't even realize
that he's just arguing for thought control. That's based on what he believes is abhorrent.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, maybe he does realize that.
Maybe he does. That would make him very Machiavellian.
Well, he is talking about restricting freedom of speech here, right? That's the ultimate push behind this piece. So it says just before we go on, to further address his concern here is, well, what if somebody says something that's abhorrent and no one responds to it? What if somebody says something that's abhorrent and no one's there to talk about how abhorrent it is? Right. That's what he's suggesting. Now, obviously, on this show, we're going to respond to things that we think are outrageous. We're here to do that.
This guy's views, which are abhorrent.
Yes, exactly. But there certainly could be cases where, a street preacher is, let's say Chris Cantwell's going out and into the street and...
Is he a street preacher?
He's not
now?
A preacher, no. I don't think he believes in God. But anyway, let's say he goes out and he's a white nationalist. He's got abhorrent, racist viewpoints, and he's handing out pamphlets on the street corner, and there's nobody there to call him out. There's nobody there to rebut every single thing. That's the situation this guy's talking about, is we can't have an abhorrent view just being able to go out there unrebutted. And I would say, well, okay, go out and hand out some pamphlets next to Chris Cantwell then. I mean, look, it's not my responsibility to pick the time and the place of where somebody can say things that are abhorrent. They should be able to do it anytime, anywhere, because freedom of speech is important. If you don't think it's important, well, then there's plenty of places in the world where it's restricted, and you can see what those places are like. Are they great places to live? Like the Middle East, for instance?
Yeah. So
You brought up the real kicker here, and that is, if enough people agree with it, then it isn't abhorrent.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's normal.
But there have been plenty of times in our history where plenty of people believed that we needed to sacrifice 50,000 captive slaves a year in order for the sun to come up tomorrow.
Right. And at that time, that belief was not abhorrent.
That's right.
So he might be on to something where, who gets
the only reason why you believe he's onto something is because you believe that belief was abhorrent.
Yeah, but who gets to decide? And which is the big question this evening.
Right, exactly.
This guy does.
Yeah, but I'm going to say no. He's not an angel, and neither are we. So so the best option is the marketplace of thinking, of free speech. And let it work its way out. Let it work its way through the system. But to expect some Stalin who knows everything, and now we know that he didn't.
Yeah,
to get in there and start deciding how we live and what we can say and where we can say it.
So free speech, right, is the driving force, or one of the driving forces that brought us from that time to the time that we have now.
Correct.
The freer the speech, the faster the movement towards better ideas.
And the better
it's
way...
not free speech that moves us towards bad ideas. It's free speech that moves us towards
it is the
ideas.
most efficient way to keep abhorrent views in check.
Yeah.
Which is why it's the First Amendment.
Well, and think about one of the reasons why it was created in the first place, right? Because you had a king previously. These folks that came here, they were trying to get away.
Ordained by God.
Right, and you couldn't criticize the king. And think about, there are still countries in the world. Isn't Thailand one of them where if you criticize the king of Thailand, you're put to death?
Oh, it's bad.
So, I mean, this still exists today in the world where you cannot say bad things about the ruling class, about the grand ruler, the king daddy or whatever. If you say bad things, you die. And I bet this guy would say that is a bad thing. Well, of course we should allow criticism of the government. Of course we should. But back in the day, it wasn't acceptable at all. It was abhorrent to say bad things about the king, and it was punishable by death, and still is to this day. So you're absolutely right that having freedom of speech moved us to a point where people didn't feel afraid to say bad things about the king anymore. They didn't feel afraid to call Trump names or to call Obama names or to insult these political candidates or whatever. 855-450-FREE. We got more coming up from this dude that wants to crush free speech, and your calls and thoughts are welcome as well. You can join us here, 855-450-3733. Have you lived in a country where there was no free speech? What was it like? I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.80, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,433. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, an off-duty Texas police officer accidentally shot his son after mistaking the adult for an intruder, a police spokesperson said. The Mind Unleashed reports the officer, who was an off-duty officer with the Dallas Police Department, opened fire on his son during the incident, which took place in DeSoto, a suburb just south of Dallas. Following the shooting, the officer contacted local police. When police arrived, they found the victim, who was in his 20s, bleeding from his forearm. The son was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, according to police. No charges have been filed for the shooting that occurred after the off-duty officer returned to his home on Saturday, realizing that it wasn't in the same state he had left it in. The officer reportedly was not aware that his son was home at the time. Police have not yet released the identities of the officer or his son until further details are confirmed, according to the department. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A recent discovery by MOland.com alleges that police in Florida are using information to compile unlawful lists of gun owners in the state, a direct violation of Florida law. Moreover, despite getting caught red-handed, the Charlotte County State Attorney's Office determined that the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department did not violate any laws in compiling the lists. The department was able to create the list because of an apparent glitch in the system. While the initial discovery exposed the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, according to AmmoLand, the corruption extends to other departments throughout the state. According to reporter Andrew Sheets, who helped uncover the abuse of tyranny, there are emails from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department detailing how the department shares the information with other law enforcement agencies. The Northport Police Department and the Sarasota Sheriff's Office have both been implicated in the abuse scandal. Think twice before planning your family vacation to Aruba next year. That's because Big Brother has big plans to monitor American tourists. A recent article in Breaking Travel News revealed that the government of Aruba and the World Travel and Tourism Council are bringing facial recognition CCTV cameras to car rental stations and to at least 15 hotels on the island by 2020. According to the U.S. Department of State, more than 1 million U.S. tourists travel to Aruba each year, meaning that Aruba plans to use VisionBox's facial recognition to identify and track more than 1 million vacationing Americans. Aruba Happy Flow allows travelers to sign up and be tracked by facial recognition CCTV cameras. But does anyone really think that facial recognition cameras will only be used to identify those who sign up for the pilot program? CCTV surveillance cameras run 24/7 and are not designed to distinguish between those who have signed up for Aruba Happy Flow and those who have not. In other words, they will capture everyone's faces. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thousands took to the streets to protest the NYPD's Stop and Kiss program. New Yorkers who've been stopped often say the encounters feel extremely intrusive.
Going through my pockets, throwing my stuff on the ground, kissing me on my neck and face. They push me up against the wall and start nibbling on my ear.
Joining us now is legal analyst Susan Hughes and Mark Brennan, a former police officer who has defended the Stop and Kiss program.
Look, it's one thing to kiss someone who you think might commit a crime, but these officers are just kissing people left and right with no probable cause.
Look, if you've got nothing to hide, then it's not a problem. They just stop, ask where you're going, give you a gentle kiss or two, and let you go.
Mark, there have been examples, public examples, where these procedures have just gone too far. Let's take a look at a disturbing cell phone video that's been making the rounds on the internet.
Stop! Put your hands on your head. Oh, come on, man. They just kissed me 2 blocks ago. Come on, man. I didn't do anything. Shut the f*** up and let me kiss you.
Look, the cops can either kiss people now before there's violence, or they can be kissing a bunch of dead bodies at a crime scene.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You're invited if you want to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, because we do have at least a semblance of freedom of speech. We don't truly have it, but at least we do have the principles down pretty well in the United States. You generally have the freedom to say things, even if they are despicable. On this show, you certainly do. Of course, there are those pesky FCC rules that say there's certain words you just can't say on the radio, and so we do have to work around those. But beyond those restrictions, you're pretty much able to, advocate for whatever things that you want to. And that's why we have open phones here, so you have the opportunity to do that. A lot of the time, people don't bother to avail themselves of it, and that's okay. We're here to fill the airspace with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Because whether you want to speak or not, there's always something worth listening to, and hopefully you'll find our show is that thing. You can join us online over at freetalklive.com, where there's a lot of speech that you can listen to going back for years, going back to 2006. We've got downloadable archives there, so please check those out at freetalklive.com. And I apologize to anybody who's been subscribed recently, who's been getting the messed up downloads on the site. I actually have not yet heard back from SoundCloud this week, so maybe I need to ping them with another email and see what's going on. But our podcast host all of a sudden just decided to start serving up file names that were SoundCloud download with no file extension on it. So normally our MP3s are there's a certain naming scheme. It's FTL and then the date and then .mp3. That's the way it's been forever. And so now it's just SoundCloud download. So some people are confused. They don't know enough about computers to know, let me try adding a .mp3 to that. Because if you just open the file or try to open the file without an extension, as they call it in computing, a lot of programs don't know what to do with it, even though it's an MP3. It is an MP3 file. It's just for whatever reason, SoundCloud's not naming it what it's actually supposed to be named. And so I contacted, after a few people, somebody let me know. Right. And so I contacted SoundCloud, and their whatever first level of support isn't actually tech support. It's just level 0 support or whatever.
Right.
And so after a few days, they wrote me back saying, yeah, we're not sure what to do about this. We're going to forward this to our tech team, and we'll get back to you. So the tech team has had it for a few, at least maybe several days now, and I haven't heard anything back. So I don't know if we're going to have to switch hosts again or what's going on, but anyway, that's an update for you. I don't know how bad our podcast downloads have been suffering as a result of this. I actually don't know if it has affected podcast listeners or if it's only affecting people who go to the website and click and download. So maybe somebody in our chat room on the Discord server is actually a podcast subscriber, and they can answer that question. All right, so we were talking about freedom of speech. Coming up, though, we're going to change gears and get into Conan's Game of the Week. Plus, you've got a Mandela Effect of the Week, so we'll get into that.
I could have a Mandela Effect of the Week for the next 2 years.
So we can do that. But there's more here from this character who, Johnson, you found. And how'd you find this, by the way? Where'd you come across this one?
Just looking for prep and stumbled upon this article.
Social media?
No, I just do lots of searches over various news platforms.
Gotcha.
I'm on a lot of them.
This one's Medium, which is a website that allows sort of editorial content, opinion pieces from people.
And I tend to like opinion pieces, and I tend to like
bad opinions.
Yeah, I like bad opinions so that we can address them. Because
and this is a good one.
Easy.
Do you also like watching bad movies?
Occasionally.
Or bad games, or hanging out with.
It depends on whether or not it's really bad or whether or not it's funny because it's bad.
I like watching the people.
This is really bad. If there were a funny opinion, I don't know.
Well, this guy wants to restrict freedom of speech, and he's writing this at the right time. There's a large push from people who agree with him, who don't want to hear the ugly stuff out there anymore, and they want to use some sort of form of government restriction to change that. So let's go on with the story.
Well, he goes on here to say, far from being a concept that stands to the side of the fray, free speech is right in the middle of the fray, where it is wielded as a sword by all parties to a controversy. You say you're for free speech, but the truth is that we are, so take that. The party that succeeds in claiming the free speech label for its side is more than halfway to victory. It chills free speech is almost always a winner. But free speech is not what wins, because free speech is not an independent value.
If we're talking about the two parties, the two tribes, I'm going to say that maybe one of them, the cult side of the tribes, I'm talking about the left, I think once upon a time they were all about free speech, but not anymore.
I mean, this guy's really gunning for the argument that free speech is not an independent value. He's like saying that that's like a foregone conclusion, and it's like, no, you're wrong.
Well, okay, if he's saying it's not an independent value, is he saying it's dependent on something? And if so, what? I'm not sure I even understand what that means.
Well, it was sort of like the last, he was making this argument in the last few paragraphs that we covered, that because it's not because, it doesn't make logical sense, because the more despicable the speech, the more it merits protection. And that only makes sense if, you can be sure that abhorrent views will be exposed, which we, roundly rejected and exposed as a terrible idea. And that his own idea on this subject is abhorrent in and of itself, because that is the marketplace of ideas, is how you figure out what is abhorrent or not. You can't just
for yourself
judge it for yourself and oh, that's abhorrent because I said so. Well, no, you don't get to decide that for everyone else.
Well, you get to decide it for yourself, but that's it.
You get to decide it for yourself, but this guy believes that there should be
we need a panel.
His people that decide what is abhorrent and what is not.
Right.
Well, and we know that he's an author, but he's also an academic. He's a professor of humanities and law at Florida International University.
Or he probably also thinks that free speech should be democratically decided as to what is
and that's what I was saying.
The majority should decide. The tyranny of the majority should decide what is abhorrent, and therefore squash the minority's speech.
It's a scary idea.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying about Keene State. It's going to be the plurality. It's going to be a bunch of students who get in front of whatever board members they need to, and they're like, this needs to happen, and look at it, there's 50 of us. We need to make this happen because feelings.
Yeah. So he goes on here to say, many U.S. citizens reflexively affirm the value of free expression and don't require that it be justified by reference to some other value. Strong free speech advocates don't ask, what is the First Amendment for? Merely to pose that question would be to imply that the rationale for the amendment is to be located in a goal prior to it. Freedom of speech, on the strong view, is a freestanding value, yet any celebration of that value typically includes a list of the benefits free speech provides. It facilitates the search for truth, or it provides the free flow of information necessary to an informed citizenry, or it opens a space for dissent and thereby provides a counterweight to the pronouncements of entrenched authority.
That's all true. I'm glad he at the very least can express the other side.
Right.
So at least he understands, or at least proclaims to understand, some of the reasons and the rationale for free speech.
Here's where he closes the trap.
He's closing the trap on you again.
I'm ready.
He's got you.
If these are the goals of the First Amendment that it helps us to realize, there must be some forms of speech that impede rather than aid their realization. Speech that blocks or undermines the search for truth. Speech that corrupts rather than informs the minds of the citizens. Speech that shuts down the democratic conversation
the Russians.
rather than keeping it open. It follows that regulating such speech rather than violating the First Amendment is an act of fidelity to it.
I mean, what?
The war is peace.
That's
freedom
totally
is slavery.
Yeah, that's totally the double speak part right there. That definitely deserves to be repeated here in just a moment, because we're going to continue the discussion. But woo boy, so we need to restrict freedom of speech because there's some things that could restrict freedom of some speech that restricts freedom of speech.
I think that's
well. I mean, let's think about the whole Russian argument. So they got on Facebook allegedly and bought some ads and whatnot. So a free speech platform. And they said what they wanted to, and they won the election for the Great Orange Emperor.
That's the
Trump.
conspiracy theory.
That is the theory, and so we've got to control that type of free speech. We can't have the Russians doing it.
But that's a private platform.
Well, maybe he wants
not even what we're
maybe he
talking
wants to
about.
control the Facebook as well.
Of course he does. Because these laws, if they come out with them, are going to apply to anything inside the United States. There's more coming up. I want to dig back into that here, Johnson, as well, and your calls and thoughts are welcome on Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. You can join us on those rooms, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Just go to discord.lrn.fm to do that. Also, good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great, but eating right all the time can be a challenge. Travel and work schedules can definitely get in the way these days, and you might just not even have the time or the desire to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature can help you with just 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their vegetable capsules. You'll get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. You can go online and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. Plus, after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. So go to balanceofnature.com, use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, to get that deal. That's balanceofnature.com with code FTL. Ian Johnson and Conan in the studio here. Johnson, you're sharing with us a disturbing opinion piece at an abhorrent opinion piece by a man named, what was it? Stanley
Fish.
Stanley Fish, who is a anti-free speech advocate. And I think you should reread that last paragraph or last couple of sentences where he kind of sums up his big pitch as to why it is that some types of speech should be disallowed for the good of other types of speech or something like that. I don't want to try to restate it without hearing it again.
Yes, so he says any celebration of the value of free speech typically includes a list of the benefits free speech provides. It facilitates the search for truth, or it provides the free flow of information necessary to an informed citizenry, or it opens a space for dissent and thereby provides a counterweight to the pronouncements of entrenched authority. But if these are the goals of the First Amendment that it helps us to realize, there must be some forms of speech that impede rather than aid that realization. Speech that blocks or undermines the search for truth. Speech that corrupts rather than informs the minds of citizens. Speech that shuts down the democratic conversation rather than keeping it open. It follows that regulating such speech rather than violating the First Amendment is an act of fidelity to it.
Wow, that's so crazy.
I don't understand, because regulating that type of speech is
contrary.
Is a violation of the First Amendment.
Right. And all the things that he was talking about that would be shutting down freedom of speech, all I could think about was you're under arrest, right? Like there's certain words coming from the mouths of government agents that have gotten in the way and have stopped people from engaging in freedom of speech. And it's most of the time, with the exception of the occasional thug that will try to stop you from speaking, and we've certainly seen that here in Keene, where some people have physically attacked the Robin Hooders, for instance, many years ago. But, I mean, usually it's coming from the government. Usually the freedom of speech restrictions that we need to be concerned with are coming from the halls of power themselves.
Wow, this argument gets sicker.
Okay, great. Here we go.
If you have any answer at all to the question, what is the First Amendment for? You are logically committed to censorship somewhere down the line, because your understanding of the amendment's purpose will lead you to regulate or suppress speech that serves to undermine that purpose. We see once again that censorship is not a violation of the First Amendment, but the necessary vehicle of its implementation. The choice is never between free speech or censorship, but between different paths of censorship.
I don't understand this guy. Censorship is a violation of the First Amendment. Period. There is no gray area here. It's black or white. It's either right or wrong.
And remember, censorship is when the government restricts freedom of speech. Private censorship isn't quite the same thing.
Right.
And this guy certainly would want to control private platforms.
He definitely seems to have sort of missed that whole private.
And is it just government? I thought censorship was from the authority.
Well, yeah, you can look at it that way too.
So Facebook can censor, even though it's not government, but it is the authority, because it's the only one that has Facebook.
Their property.
And again, he just goes on to presume, it's just like, I'm going to make a point, presuming that you already accepted my last argument.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just like making an argument, he's like building a house of cards.
He's recruiting. He wants to recruit people.
This is definitely a house of cards argument for sure. So he says free speech doctrine is a grab bag of analogies invented for the occasion, arguments, rhetorical slogans, shaky distinctions, and ad hoc exceptions to those distinctions, all combining to make it an artifact of the very politics it supposedly transcends. That's a mouthful, but what it means is that the First Amendment
yes, it was.
is a participant in the partisan battle, a prize in the political wars, and not an apolitical oasis of principle. That's my first thesis. My second thesis is that there is nothing wrong with that.
And I'll agree with that. When you hear these arguments, unless it's coming from us, but mostly these arguments, these free speech arguments, are whoever's in control, whatever tribe is in control, and it's speech that is important to their battle.
Mm-hmm.
So the left has a whole nother argument when it comes to free speech compared to what the right thinks is important to protect.
Well, and that's part of the problem, right? Because it goes back to the question of who will enforce. If the left is in charge when these things come into play,
it's going to be safe spaces in the college.
Right, they'll crack down on certain types of things they don't like. But then when the right gets in control, then they're going to crack down on the lefties.
You can't talk bad about cops.
Yeah, and before you know it, you won't know what to say because you won't know if what you say is going to offend somebody, if what you say is going to be politically popular at any given point in time.
Remember back to the beginning of his argument here is that that there are certain restrictions that are, and that even we deem okay. For example, going through and saying, shouting things to the megaphone at 2 a.m., through a residential neighborhood. And if that's a limitation on free speech, again, he's saying that those limitations
free speech applies to public property. And that's one of the things that you said he's wishy-washy on, he's missing. And that's common amongst people who don't really have a true understanding of what that means. You don't have freedom of speech here on Free Talk Live because we're on private property and we have to protect the property of the radio transmitters, the owners of those transmitters. They can be come after by the government. And so we have to put in certain restrictions, but we are as free as a speech platform as we can be, minus those restrictions. Other places, like Mastodon instances, for instance, that don't want to have, Gab, I think, which is a sort of ultra right-wing social media platform, launched their own Mastodon server, and some of the other Mastodon servers disfederated from that. They disconnected from that other server because they didn't want to connect to those things. Now, that's not necessarily the same thing as government censorship. It's just private property restrictions. Now, you could probably use a definition of censorship to describe that, but ultimately it doesn't stop you from having the freedom of speech. The true censorship is that which threatens you with violence, that which threatens you with some sort of punishment for being, for saying things that you want to say.
So again, he says
truly chilling.
He says here the First Amendment is a participant in the partisan battle, a prize in the political wars, and not an apolitical oasis of principle. He says his first thesis, second thesis, that there's nothing wrong with that, and he goes on to say a First Amendment whose content and operations are through and through political is fully capable of doing the work we needed to do. Indeed, it may be more capable because freed from the stringent demand of principle, the demand that freedom of speech be the rule without exception.
He's saying free it from principle, but put it in the hands of political people.
And no matter
Great
what
plan.
the circumstance, the amendment can display the flexibility required to make useful sense of the many situations in which debates about speech
Useful.
emerge.
By useful, he means arbitrary, as in the decider. Somebody gets to decide. More coming up here. 855, 450, free. It's Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Freedom of speech. Some guy says on the internet, we don't need it anymore. He says it's a bad idea because we need to have restrictions on freedom of speech to help freedom of speech. It's one of the craziest arguments that I've heard, but I imagine he's finding an audience for it because these days, and for a long time, there have always been people who've been against freedom of speech.
Well, let's talk about what the title of this book is.
Oh, his book?
It's called The First: How to Think About Hate Speech, Campus Speech, Religious Speech, Fake News, Post-Truth, and Donald Trump.
Truth.
How to think about those things. He's going to tell you how you should think.
Yeah, and
he's a professor.
And some types of speech need to be regulated. Otherwise, Nazis. Otherwise, Russians.
Feelings could be hurt.
Russians manipulating the elections.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, mass shootings.
You have to restrict freedom of speech. Otherwise, Donald Trump.
That's where it's all coming from.
Mm-hmm. 855-450, free if you want to weigh in. You're welcome to join us here, and maybe you want to talk about what's happening on a college campus near you, because this is being dealt with in a lot of places, happening right here in our very own Keene, New Hampshire. I do want to say thank you real quick, though, to James Hell. He is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. James is contributing $5 a month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a way for you to get behind what we do here. If you like the fact that we're talking about freedom of speech, We're on the broadcast airwaves, and we're on over 200 stations, coast to coast and beyond. We've also, of course, got podcasts and live streams and satellite feeds. If you really appreciate the work that we do, then please join the AMP program. It makes a big difference for us. We're able to do a lot with a very little. I mean, we only have about a couple grand a month coming into the AMP program, but it makes a difference, and I definitely appreciate it. About 200 people are behind that right now, so thank you. To everybody who currently amps the show, and thanks to everybody who's amped in the past. I mean, people come and go for different reasons, but come on back. If you're a former amplifier, or if you've never done it before, go to amp.freetalklive.com, because I wish there were more shows that were doing what we do, but there really aren't. There's really not that many in the way of liberty-oriented focuses out there in broadcast radio. There's a few local hosts that are pretty decent, but as far as syndicated shows are concerned, I wish I could say it differently, but we're pretty much it. It used to be Michael Dean had a show, but he put that down a couple of years ago. So there's nothing else. If you appreciate it, go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can use credit card. You can use PayPal. You can use Bitcoin BTC. James Held did it. You can do it too over at amp.freetalklive.com. You get cool perks like the AMP status on our Discord forum, our Discord chat server, where you get special access to supporters-only chat rooms and special name badge kind of status stuff over there. So go to amp.freetalklive.com. Johnson, you wanted to kind of reiterate the last crazy paragraph, I think, in this guy's story for a final comment here. Go ahead.
So, again, this guy's just going to say his thesis and second thesis of his argument is that the First Amendment is a participant in a partisan battle, a prize in political wars, and not an apolitical oasis of principle. That's the first thesis. And the second thesis is that there's nothing wrong with that. First Amendment, whose content and operations are through and through political, is fully capable of doing the work we need it to do. Indeed, it may be more...
So hold on, just to translate what he's saying there. He's saying that if only the First Amendment allowed for political speech, it'd be okay?
First Amendment whose content and operations are political. Mm-hmm. In other words, that it's a political battle and that it's a First Amendment who's being battled over by the right and the left, which it is, mm-hmm. right? And that First Amendment is fully capable of doing the work that we need it to do, supposedly.
But that's as far as it should go? Is that what he's saying? Like that?
I guess he's saying that that's fine.
Let's let freedom of speech exist in the political realm, but outside of it, we don't want anyone's feelings to get hurt.
I guess. Well, let's see what he continues. He says, indeed, it may be more capable, because freed from the stringent demand of principle, the demand that freedom of speech be the rule without exception, and no matter what the circumstance, the amendment can display the flexibility required to make useful sense of the many situations in which debates about speech emerge.
I just love how he couches, and I don't love it, but it's horrifying, but how he couches the idea of freeing the principle, freeing freedom of speech from
yourself
the
principle.
You're unchaining.
Why are you so tied to being a principled person?
You're unchaining yourself from all of this liberty in order to chain yourself down with the restrictions that he thinks are appropriate.
Complete nonsense that you would have principles. I mean, the fact that you would believe that speech should be free when clearly there are examples of when free speech is bad.
It hurts.
Things are bad that happen with free speech, so therefore you shouldn't have principles at all.
And most people don't.
Yeah.
But he is right to say that a lot of people do reflexively support freedom of speech. They've been brought up with that idea. They may not truly understand it, but they do still spout it to some extent. And I think that's ultimately, a good thing. It's better if they understand it. Obviously, we strive for that. That's one of the reasons why we're talking about this, so people can better comprehend what freedom of speech is and why it exists and why it's a good thing. But there's always pushback from people like this.
I mean, it's just funny. I mean, it's like the same argument without principles. It's like, so what if police kill people? Why are you attached to this principle?
They're just freeing you from the restrictions of your body.
Innocent people should never be harmed. Clearly, we need to protect some people, but if a few innocent people get harmed, I mean, why are you attached to this principle? Look at all the good that's happening here. What if some, there's collateral damage and thousands of children are killed in foreign wars? The military is keeping you safe.
Well, this is the kind of guy.
Stop with your silly principles.
Right. And this is the kind of guy who probably would support the idea of we do need to put 100 guilty men in prison so we can find, or excuse me, 100 innocent men in prison so we can put one guilty man in prison, right? Because the old principle of the right to a fair trial and due process and things like this, presumption of innocence, is that if I'd rather have 100 guilty men go free than have one innocent man put in prison. This guy sounds like he would prefer the reverse.
Right.
Put everybody in prison. We'll catch some guilty people.
Well, I know that his argument is always going to end up with Nazis alt-right, because that's where he's coming from. He wants to protect his students and his people and his clan from that type of think. Because those are the movies he saw. That's the history that he understands. But what he is calling for is Soviet Russia. And he just doesn't get it that he's probably going to be one of the first getting shipped off to Siberia. Because
not if he's helping sculpt the
there
free speech.
There were plenty of supporters, communist supporters, who after a few years started to realize, hey, this isn't what we wanted. This isn't work. First ones off on their first ones in the cattle car. And
he'll just have to pledge his loyalty to the party on the blockchain. That's what they're doing in China, apparently.
This guy, by the way, is just, this is my own personal opinion here, but he is the boomeriest looking boomer that ever boomered.
What was his name again?
Stanley Fish.
Stanley Fish.
Stanley Fish.
He's a happy guy.
He's a very, he's a balding, mustachioed crusty old white man who, he just looks like an evil villain in, a movie.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, he does. He actually kind of looks like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
at first glance.
I will eat your free speech with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get into some pop culture stuff. We got video game of the week, the game of the week from Conan on the way here. Plus, if you want to jump in, you can. Let's talk to James. He's in Indianapolis. You're on Free Talk Live, listening on TuneIn. Hello? James in Indy. Going once. James in Indy going twice. Thanks for trying. 855, 450 free, and also Mandela Effect. Give us that one since you said it was.
So
a quick
just to clarify, just to everyone who doesn't really doesn't understand what it is.
Yeah.
Mandela Effect is a universal misremembering of something that happened.
Right.
And there are so many of them popping up now.
It's not necessarily universal. It tends to have a big split.
The A and B universes, the two dimensions. The idea is that there's lots of theories on what actually happened, but one of them is that that the universe split and that one dimension went one way, the other went the other, and something changed. And
there are these little hallmarks.
And dimension B remembers it differently when it's not real anymore.
Dimension A remembers what actually was, and Dimension B remembers the homophone.
Correct.
We're going to continue in moments. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, Game of the Week. Conan has got one he's been into. And I don't know, Johnson probably playing one too. I don't know what that would be, but we can talk about stuff like that. It's Ian, Conan, and Johnson in the studio tonight. Also, want to make sure you know about our website over at freetalklive.com. Lots of features there. They're free for you, so please head on over there and enjoy them on us. Again, that's freetalklive.com. Of course, the Discord server is available to you around the clock, and there's people in there most all the time. So if you want to chat with other Free Talk Live listeners, some of whom are callers to the show on occasion, you can find them hanging out over at discord.lrn.fm. And that's where we're going to next, where we have on the line with us, we might have, his name is Mouth Breathing Dullard, and he is on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Conan, I heard you lamenting about the cops, or otherwise what Johnson Rice refers to as the pigs.
Yes, they are.
Disappointing you at times?
Yes, having called them and having dealt with them, I would have done better just to taking care of it myself because they didn't help.
Well, I can think of at least 3 occasions now that Libertarian Radio Network hosts have called the pigs on me for under the accusation of dastardly crimes that
I can think of at least 3 occasions that the pigs weren't called on you and did their jobs by pulling you over to the side of the road.
I got pulled over for a Dewey 8 years ago, yes.
And on at least 3 separate occasions.
Conan, may I speak?
Is this the same guy who's always threatening hosts about killing their kids and stuff?
I'm not threatening them at
this
all.
Is the,
I'm not
threatening
them
to
at
kill
all.
someone's child is not a threat?
They, like Albert Speer Jr., if you know your history. But I'd like to say something about Fat Man and Little Boy you're sitting in the studio with right now, that if they don't take back the despicable and disgusting things they've said about me by my full name on the public airwaves, literally, 100 times?
What, that you're a liar?
I'll be happy to call Cell 411 with either one of their
That you're a
cell phones
racist?
after their
Well, is he a
lives have
racist?
been destroyed. That's not a and Conan, that's not a threat. I hope a skinny white boy piece of trash like you shows up, and I hope Rich Paul shows up, and I hope Vincent shows up.
Shows
and
up
I hope
where?
Mark should be Dedgington shows up.
Where?
But even better, James DeMezio, drag queen that he is.
Where? Show up where?
Oh, you don't want to know where, because you won't be able to know where you are, Ian Bernard, after I'm done with you.
What are you talking
and
about?
You wish you never met that con man, 2 Bitcoin preacher that lies, Mark Edgington. After I'm done with you, lest you do
Gene
what
Ray,
I say.
everybody. Founder of TimeCube.com.
Hey, Conan. Hey,
what are you talking about?
He sounds like he's going to kill you two guys.
He's drunk right now.
Oh, kills against God's commandment. I would
Because
never
if you don't
do
know
such a
where
thing.
you're at whenever he's done with you, it sounds like you're dead. I think he's threatening your life.
Speaking of Conan, hey, speaking of killing Conan, Mark Edgington's real crime victim still can't be reached for comment. And guess why the
We're losing you there, buddy. Thanks for the. Oh, bye now. All right.
All right, that wasn't us.
I never called the
that
police.
It was actually.
No. I mean, the
reception
reception just now. We didn't.
No, that was just him. He's probably on a cell phone connection or something like that. But I just like to say, I didn't call the police on James, but I don't blame somebody for doing that. And I understand that Mark has done that.
Yeah, sure. Somebody says, "I'm going to come kill your kid."
Yeah, well, he's very careful about saying that. He won't actually say he's going to kill Mark's child. He'll say he's going to end his life as he knows it.
Wow.
Which could mean he is intending to kill Mark, which would, change his son's life as he knows it in that case. But he's never really too clear about it. If he gets drunk enough, he will just come right out and threaten. And there has been some evidence that, Mark has been collecting. Mark takes this all pretty seriously. And he has gone to the police. I don't know of anyone else who has gone to the police in this case because, whatever. So there you go. Hey, let's talk about video games, Conan.
Let's talk about Mandela Effect. This is a quick one.
Oh yeah, Mandela Effect. Yeah.
So, all right, as Johnson clarified, it is not a universal misremembering. It is a widespread misremembering of something that may or may not have happened.
The Berenstain Bears was the first one I heard about, and I was shocked when it spelled Berenstain Bears. Having seen those books so many times as a kid, I could not believe it was spelled S-T-A-I-N.
I think a lot of these can be explained. It's all about context. Like the whole, like the
sure, like you're not old enough to really know how that stuff is spelled.
Or Luke, I am your father. When he really said, no, I'm your father. If you're talking to your buddy at the water cooler the next day, you're going to put it into context. You're going to say, Luke, I am your father. You're not going to say, you're going to put it into context. So some of these are understandable, but some of them just don't make sense.
Like
and this one comes from the Matrix.
Like when you're a kid, you don't have the prejudice to say, well, Jews, that's a Jewish name. Berenstein, it's spelled E-I-N because that's the way they spell it, right? You just say C-A-I-N, and you haven't formed that prejudice yet because you're a little kid.
And everything,
Wait, what the hell does it have to do with Jewish people? What?
Because you wouldn't. Why would you have to do? If you sound it out, right? If you're at the age where you're spelling things by sounding it out, why would A-I-N be a problem for Berenstein?
Didn't the author come out?
Really,
Stain.
Yeah, but didn't
sort of, but you're not really going to know that if you just hear it, Berenstain Bears. Like you're not going to really. That's not going to stand out to you.
I don't know, man.
Because the reason why it stands out to you now is because that S-T-I-N spelling is the common spelling of anything that ends in Steen, right?
No, it's not.
Yes,
S-T-A-I-N?
No. Stein is the E-I-N.
E-I-N is the common spelling. Right. You only know that now. As a little kid, you wouldn't have known that. Why would you know the common spelling? Oh, that's from a Jewish family name. Stein is added onto everything.
And
you wouldn't know that.
And by the way,
age.
this is why I never bring up Berenstain Bears because I don't remember.
I feel like I remember it clearly. Having seen the books a million times.
Here's one that I do clearly remember, and everyone else seems to clearly remember because it became an internet meme.
All right.
This is from The Matrix. This is the Morpheus scene when he takes Neo back into the Matrix for the first time
Neo,
and talks about Neo how he's a battery and all night. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's talking about and the desert of the real.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what if I told you, Johnson, that Morpheus never said, "What if I told you, Neo, you're a battery, you're a slave to the machine." He never actually said, What if I told you? And then went on with the rest. It never happened. Blew my mind. I saw it.
Really?
I saw it. Rewatched the movie that minute.
It wasn't in there.
It wasn't in there. It doesn't exist. And I can clearly remember Lawrence Fishburne saying that
I don't remember
to
him
Neil.
saying, I told you. I think he did say, what if, and what if what if you are a battery or something like that. He did say something to that effect, but I don't believe he ever said, what if I told you.
So the meme put it in your head is what
if
It's possible, yeah, exactly.
What if you were a battery, or what if your sole existence, that's what he said,
Right.
something like that.
And I think that it was the core of his argument.
What did he actually say? I think it was, what if your sole purpose, or something like that, right?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember it. Now I'm trying to tap
Now,
into my
now
memory.
everyone listening, and myself
Memories
included,
are
are gonna
very
have,
faulty, though,
They're
aren't
very
they?
faulty. They say that when you see the criminal
I
in
could not
the
give
bank,
you that
the guy
exact
who
line.
was holding up the bank, no one remembers what he really looked like because you were in a state of fight or flight,
right?
And and just memories are real. They're real crap like that.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. It's on sale. Steam is having their Halloween sale this week. I got it for 80% off, which is exactly the way that I like it. It's called Dungeons 3, and if you've ever played, it's an RTS, a real-time strategy game.
Okay.
Dungeon builder, and I do like I used to like city builders until I started paying taxes.
So what's the goal of a dungeon builder? Are you supposed to make a scary dungeon that kills the people that enter it?
Exactly. So you're keeping the good guys out of your dungeon, and you're going out up into the upworld to destroy the good
so you're the
kingdoms.
bad guy.
You are the bad guy. You are the dungeon keeper.
Those are fun games.
This is based on a game. This is just one of the games that makes I am who I am because of Dungeon Keeper 2, which came out in 1999. I still play it every now and then because it's just that good.
Wait a minute. This is the sequel to Dungeon Keeper 2?
This is a different company.
Oh, okay.
They can't use the same narrator. They can't use the same names. It's all it's everything.
But a similar concept.
It's very similar. There is 2 other variations: Dungeons 1 and Dungeons 2. Skip them. Go straight to Dungeons 3. It's fun. It's cheap. It's only like $8 this week.
Now, is this a full PC game, or is this on the platforms?
It is actually on some other platforms. It looks like it's on Xbox One. It's on PlayStation 4, and then of course desktop.
Dungeon 3.
But I don't talk to consolers. Go ahead and stop messing around with the stupid hand controller and get yourself a real computer. With a keyboard and mouse, because you're going to be much better off.
We don't have time to get into it any further, but check out, if you're into that stuff, Dungeon 3 is what Conan is writing. That's the name of it?
Dungeons 3 with an S.
Dungeons 3. Is it multiplayer or just single player?
There are options.
Okay.
I haven't gotten into them yet. Skirmishes and co-op.
You've been playing for what, less than a week?
Less than a week.
All right, more coming up tomorrow night. See you then online. In the meantime, you can join us, freetalklive.com, and we'll see you later. libertyminded.com for Free Talk Live gear. Check that out, too.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.80, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,433. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, an off-duty Texas police officer accidentally shot his son after mistaking the adult for an intruder, a police spokesperson said. The Mind Unleashed reports the officer, who was an off-duty officer with the Dallas Police Department, opened fire on his son during the incident, which took place in DeSoto, a suburb just south of Dallas. Following the shooting, the officer contacted local police. When police arrived, they found the victim, who was in his 20s, bleeding from his forearm. The son was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, according to police. No charges have been filed for the shooting that occurred after the off-duty officer returned to his home on Saturday, realizing that it wasn't in the same state he had left it in. The officer reportedly was not aware that his son was home at the time. Police have not yet released the identities of the officer or his son until further details are confirmed, according to the department. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A recent discovery by MOland.com alleges that police in Florida are using information to compile unlawful lists of gun owners in the state, a direct violation of Florida law. Moreover, despite getting caught red-handed, the Charlotte County State Attorney's Office determined that the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department did not violate any laws in compiling the lists. The department was able to create the list because of an apparent glitch in the system. While the initial discovery exposed the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, according to AmmoLand, the corruption extends to other departments throughout the state. According to reporter Andrew Sheets, who helped uncover the abuse of tyranny, there are emails from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department detailing how the department shares the information with other law enforcement agencies. The Northport Police Department and the Sarasota Sheriff's Office have both been implicated in the abuse scandal. Think twice before planning your family vacation to Aruba next year. That's because Big Brother has big plans to monitor American tourists. A recent article in Breaking Travel News revealed that the government of Aruba and the World Travel and Tourism Council are bringing facial recognition CCTV cameras to car rental stations and to at least 15 hotels on the island by 2020. According to the U.S. Department of State, more than 1 million U.S. tourists travel to Aruba each year, meaning that Aruba plans to use Vision Box's facial recognition to identify and track more than 1 million vacationing Americans. Aruba Happy Flow allows travelers to sign up and be tracked by facial recognition CCTV cameras. But does anyone really think that facial recognition cameras will only be used to identify those who sign up for the pilot program? CCTV surveillance cameras run 24/7 and are not designed to distinguish between those who have signed up for Aruba Happy Flow and those who have not. In other words, they will capture everyone's faces. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new report from the National Center for Education shows that an alarming 10% of U.S. high school students graduate without basic object permanence skills. According to the study, a growing number of American seniors are lagging behind their international counterparts when it comes to the crucial knowledge that things don't just disappear if you're not looking at them.
Because it exists even if your eyes can't see it. Am I making sense?
No. U.S. high schoolers have dropped to 17th in science, 25th in math, and a troubling 180th place in the basic cognitive awareness most humans develop as toddlers. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan is asking Congress to fund increased after-school disguise and reveal programs.
It's time to get the kids excited to learn the most obvious mental concepts that make us capable of functioning.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do better. It's just I don't know how I'm supposed to learn anything if I don't even have a teacher.
I'm still here, Vanessa.
Some educators worry that too much focus placed on object permanence might take away from other important skills, such as not touching hot things that could burn you.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. We're back declaring our independence this lovely Tuesday morning, October 29th, 2019. You know what October 29th is? That's the day before Halloween. It's Halloween Eve. Yep, you got grandkids. Yeah. Oh, what an awesome costume! They all are. They're so cute. So we're gonna be doing that, and we got a boo present on our door. Yeah, what was that about? It was just you even know who it was from or anything? You know, so there was all right, tell us about it.
I guess it's a neighbor.
Okay, wait. That one. There we go.
Hello?
I got it.
Test 1 2 3 4.
There you go.
Received a package on our doorstep yesterday, and I guess it's just a fun thing that the neighbors do. Never had it, and we've been here for 8 or 9 years.
Now they want us to like replicate and make and pass.
All right. Pass 2 on. It's just kind of a sharing thing, and you got candles and nice little fall coffee mug. And
but it's not a present if I got a double up present.
Well,
it's like here's this nice present. I'll make 2 of them.
You don't have to. There's no coercion. If you don't want to, then don't do it.
No, it was nice. It was nice gesture. It was nice to get it. You know, one of the nice things we get in holidays last couple of years, there was a Thai or Korean church up on the corner there. What is that?
I don't know, Chinese, Korean. I
think it's Korean, Christian something. But they have, loud parties and everything. And I go, you think you got loud parties? Anyway, so they come by and give, little packages and just, say, hey, and what's up? I'm like, that's all good, that was nice.
They gave some really nice packages, though. They gave some really, expensive candies, not just, 1 or 2. It was, a whole nice, really
Please
nice
don't send us to jail.
Yeah, no.
Well, people called cops, they're out there partying. I'm like, woohoo, party.
I don't know anybody who called the cops on
No,
me.
I don't. But of course, we don't live like right next to them. We're like a few houses down. But now when they do it up, they karaoke. So they're doing something. So when you guys are going to start putting up decorations and stuff?
For Christmas?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably a week before Thanksgiving, which is it's the very last Friday in November this year, so it'll be pretty late. It'll be another month, maybe 3 weeks. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
ready
fine.
for it.
It just started getting cold. Yeah, it just started getting cold. We're out all day. There was a windstorm blew down and ripped part of a Palo Verde, which is like spines and needles, and it's just so much fun clearing. And we finally just, the neighbor came over. She was like,
pruning
wow.
a rosebush tree. That's what it's like.
A rosebush tree. Bob had these mesquite. They're Argentine mesquite one time. Is back because they grew fast. He's like, yeah, I want to, pop, boom. And then he's like, hell no. I go down to Home Depot and hire me some, workers down and say, hey, sup, want to do a mesquite? No, not anything but that. No, they're pretty good about it.
Pain in the butt.
Yeah, that was one thing. This, do you see, I don't know what I'm supposed to call them,
No,
undocumented, not legal aliens by the Home Depot?
I don't see them by the Home Depots around here. I can't speak to other ones.
That was too bad. We never hired anybody. Usually they come up and want to trim your tree or do something here. And all right, you negotiate. Starts at 100 and you get it down to 70 or whatever. I don't. If they do a good job, I give them more. But yeah, man, they'll come.
I know
do
a bunch
whatever
of
you're
people that did it. We never personally did, but I know a lot of people that do it.
Well, hire them.
To. Yeah, for a day job.
Yeah,
a couple of day job.
I don't know. Keith's all over it, man. He's I got. Of course, sometimes you get what you get, but
that was such the free market right there. Of course, they got to ruin that. So
it was. I didn't. Oh my God, they're out there standing in front, wanting to work. They were working. I mean, a lot of times it wasn't just Hispanics. There was some. Hey, man, I need money. I can do this, get a job. All right, I do that. It might be Russian, but I mean, or American, but. I wonder if that's even legal. I want a job. I go out there. Probably. I'll stand in front of Home Depot. I want a job. Then we check. Okay, yeah, here's my credentials. Hey, you can't stand here. Well, I'm legal. You're not allowed to work without the man getting a cut or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something like that.
No, really. If it pleases the crown, may I work for food?
It sounds like
that'd be
the
good
government
one.
Would do.
That'd be a good one. Hey, Davi, if it pleases the crown, may I work for food?
No, you can't.
That's interesting. That's where we're at. You know what? Thanks, baby. It's one thing we're going to be. Yeah, we'll be talking about tonight. No, it's tomorrow that I do James Corbett. I haven't talked to him in almost a month. We've been gone and everything. And I told him I wanted to. I go, you'd be the guy if you'd be willing to go see Joker. I really want to talk to you about it, on there. That's a review of that. It's just like, man, there's some weird stuff going on. And I feel so manipulated all the time. And he goes, nope, won't be giving Hollywood any money anytime soon. And I'm going, all right, probably. And the reason I thought that, I think it wanted to be an interesting conversation, especially if you saw it, but he did a review with someone on Lord of the Rings. And he had not seen or read Lord of the Rings his entire life until just recently. He went, all right, I'll watch the movies. So he gets to 3 of them. He went, wow, okay. Okay, wow. So they had a conversation about that. So I'm going, oh, yeah, man, you see Joker, boy, I tell you, he'd be, ooh. And a lot of people did, I guess. I mean, the sales are enormous around the world. It's just, I don't know, tragedy porn or something for anybody. See, America's living out of garbage piles. And that was one thing when, someone from the Soviet Union, when I was younger, and they'd come and they'd be surprised that we didn't have children eating out of garbage cans everywhere, and it was like you would look in the Bavario, I think that's what they call it, Bavario. The Bavario's in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. You say, no, isn't that how all the kids live, in the trash cans or the tin sheds up against the mountain? And that was how it was propagandized. Now, of course, here we propagandized, that Russia, you were standing in line all the time waiting on something. And that was true, to some degree, unless you're in the party and you're connected and you're just fine. At least that's what they tell us. And I remember when I was in 8th grade, we had a teacher. Her name was Hall or something. I can't remember. But she was a teacher in the 7th grade, and then we lived in a new subdivision. They built a school like across the street from me. And so we went to the new school, and she came over as my teacher again. I'm like, great, can I transfer to another one? She doesn't like me, And she had, we had a big learning center, and sometimes when you had a guest speaker or something, you'd have like 3 or 4 classes come together. And it was one of these, no rooms. It was just a big open area. That experiment failed miserably. And the way they, government, man, they were just trying to save on walls. Anyway, so they put us all together and had a guy came and spoke about Vietnam. He was a POW in Vietnam. And we didn't have enough education, enough reference really to know what the heck he was talking about. I mean, the worst, he goes, it was so bad, we had to use toilet paper that was like paper bag, grocery bags. And we're like, that was it? I mean, that's all you could tell us? That was your punishment? I mean, come on, man. You got to be a little more descriptive. So later we'd ask questions, about communism. That'd be an interesting conversation of what we were being propagandized in junior high. We'll be right back.
Are you feeling confused about the current economic reports that dominate the headlines? Not sure if this is a good time to buy or sell your home, or feel like the process can be overwhelming and confusing? This is Donna Hancock with Silver Alliance Realty in Phoenix, Arizona, and I can take some of the guesswork out of the home buying or selling process, providing you with market trends in your area and detailing what to expect before, during, and after the process. A home is a place where the most important moments in your life happen, so making sure that you know exactly what to expect along the way helps to ensure that you have control. The future is here, so let me help you move forward with your real estate needs. Being in the real estate business for almost 20 years now has afforded me knowledge of the market, networking with industry specialists along the way. Now more than ever, you need an agent that can help you make sense of what many think is a complicated and mysterious process. Feel free to call or message me at 602-828-1819. That's 602-828-1819. Or visit my webpage today at donnahancock.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not,
can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence. Okay, I wanted to finish up on this before. When I think about it, I'm 8th grade. It's 1976 or something like that, 75, 76. And, getting ready to go into high school. And, that was another thing. Drugs were not that big a deal when I was in high school. I mean, there were guys that did them, and you had the stoners out in the park, whatever. But that was not, we smoked marijuana last month. I mean, it was not a thing. And only time, I think it was my junior or senior year, there was one time that I went to a party and smoked a little marijuana, got a little buzz, and then came back to track practice. I used to pole vault when I was in high school. And pole vaulting and drugs do not go together, certainly marijuana. Maybe skateboarding and video games, but not pole vaulting. It's very time. You're off a little bit. And, and I lost probably at least a week of training. I mean, you're back. You keep getting better and more consistent and practiced and everything. And then, that last week just went away, and you got to build it back. Go, nope. When it comes to performance, kind of athletic, maybe running or, something like that. But something, like, I don't know. Archery, sharpshooting, would that be effect? Definitely not pole vaulting, okay? I'm just, FYI. Now, during that time, as we're getting prepped to go to high school and go be somebody, it was junior high. I could tell, now in retrospect, I can see what it was. It was when your hormones start to hit. That's why they separate elementary and high school, this junior high thing. That's where you're most vulnerable. That's when they're going to tell you all about what's what and DARE programs, and you got to turn in mom or dad, and I'm just a bill, and this is how you do it, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things they really hammered on communism. I'm like, fine, I know the difference. What we're doing now isn't communist. Even back then, everybody's telling you what to do all the time. So they go, they tell you what to do. And I'm like, like more than they do here? Yeah, probably. I mean, what was your reference? You're a teenager, the hormones starting to go. You want to do what you want to do, and everybody's telling you you can't. So I'm just like, I don't know. This sounds like we're living in communism to me, that kind of thing. So, and I wasn't, real Orange Reds didn't know any better. And I'm sitting there, and they were really hammered on this communism thing. And they had a guy, that was in a Vietnam vet that was a POW. And he was there, as I remember, years. And it was, I'm sure he had a horrific story, but they were like, they're junior high. So it wasn't, that you had to use rough brown toilet paper. I mean, that's it. I mean, come on, man. There were a bunch of your boys hanging. Was it like, Hogan's Heroes or what? No, it wasn't. And you find this out later. I don't know what they're trying to protect. If you're going to do it, do it. Well, what came of that, like month-long indoctrination, was communism bad. And I remember asking the teacher, And it just seemed like an obvious question to me. You know, and I hadn't read 1984, Brave New World, or any of this stuff, yet. I mean, I think we did, soon after that, we did 1984. They didn't want us to read that one anymore, I can guarantee that. So I go, well, what did the Russian people say? Man, lit into me. And I'm like, I don't even remember what she said. She's just mad I didn't get it or something. I'm like, whoa. I mean, I thought that'd be a good question. What do they think? Are they happier? Are they know any different? I mean, the hell, everything you're talking about, I'm seeing here, So I'm like, wow. These days are still here. They're back. They're, waving their shiny badge, and I'm a teacher, and I got my certification, went to liberal something school of whatever, and I can't really do anything but teach, and I got my certificate, give me money, and I got a pension. But, it's, the passion for teaching, I've had maybe, and, including a little bit of college, I would bet 5 teachers that had a positive impact on me. And, 1 or 2 of them weren't even mine. They were, people I met, or they were other guys' teachers, classes I'd set in on, and they were faculty sponsor or something else, or, student council or some crap like that. And I'm just going, that few. And it's just, a lot of them had an impact on me in one way or another. But, to really inspire you, that made you. There was a woman, I think her name was Lutz. I didn't get her. Everybody would say, oh, get her. She's great. The smart kids say she's great. But she had so much homework. So it wasn't until my junior year that I got her for a history class. And it was awesome because she was passionate about history. Now, she was tall and lean and had glasses and that beehive high brunette hairdo, big glasses. I mean, I don't think she was dating that much. Or maybe she lived with her mom. And maybe she was. Maybe she was she could have been a little dominatrix vixen. Well, she's kind of tall, too. But, you never know. How do you know? But she definitely gave that schoolmarm kind of vibe. But she loved history. And you get into it. You would start to understand. That was the first time that I remember that all of the different philosophies and everything made a difference long-term in people's lives. And I remember them talking about pirates. And it was, you started to, and in retrospect, I'm looking back, I'm going, yeah, they kind of depicted their bad guys and everything against whom? Against the crown. That's who said they were bad guys. But like the question that I had asked a few years earlier about, what do the people think in communist countries? Are they begging for them? Well, if they don't like it, why don't they leave? Or why don't they rise up? Or why is it still going? And it's been for so many years. And, all these, you want to get a good question, ask a 12-year-old. Maybe 13, 14. But, 12. It's South Park. It's 5th, 6th grade. You're getting up there, so what is it? 5th grade, so that's like 11, 12, So you ask by the time you're certainly in junior high, you're starting to think you know everything, or all adults are stupid. It's just a hormonal thing. You're starting to, and that's when they start trying to pull you back. This is all by design. You read a lot of different books or hear people, they'll kind of test a lot of this stuff. But man, I had 4 children close together, and this 12th grandkid thing, I get a perspective. I mean, I can see what's up, and it's so important to have them have foundational knowledge, just basic, common sense stuff. But more than that, it's if you do that, you got to have empathy. This person will feel this way and act this way and do. So when, he's always picking on me because he likes you. I bet you guys are boyfriend. Bet you're married in 3 years, and they're, in 4th grade, But he's always, when we play soccer, he's mean, Oh, Kaylee, she punched him in the face. Finally, he was just, kicking her in the legs when they're playing soccer and stuff, all that crap. Finally, she just punched him, and everybody went, whoa.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live.
I have been in the Central Square in Keene, New Hampshire with a group of people, and people have smoked cannabis there. If you don't want to inhale the cannabis, don't stand right in front of me as I'm smoking the joint. I'm not going to make an effort to blow anything in your face. That would be rude. That would be a violation of your personal space. But if you're downwind somewhere and you can smell the aroma of the pot being smoked, that in no way, shape, or form is having any effect on you.
What if they're standing 5 feet away?
You are being ridiculous.
Like, no, I'm saying.
You are being ridiculous. No. The only way you're going to get high, sir, the only way you're going to even have a chance of feeling any sort of effect is if I go walk up right into your face and blow it up your nose.
Nice try, troll.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Welcome back. What I'm building up to is this Joker thing really had an impact on me. And it wasn't because it was the greatest movie ever and all this kind of stuff. It seems to me it's what they're trying to manipulate us into. And when they went to No Child Left Behind and kind of federalized education when I think it was Carter when I was in high school, so when they did the Department of Education had a cabinet position, and I'm going, let's look that up. Because I'm just going, the Department of Education, it was, it's always the opposite of whatever they say it is, education, it's indoctrination. And the pushback has been that you have, let's do a wiki because what they say don't mean nothing to me. Man, wiki's almost as bad now. I got a $3 a year because I used to use it a lot. Now I hardly use it, that much. I just, take my $3 back. Let's see. The United States Department of Education, May 4, 1980. Yeah. So this was a Carter thing. And it was President Jimmy Carter signed into law October 17th, 79. So this was to what? Make sure they got educated, is to make sure they got the information the government wanted them to get. And what you see is a pushback on things like homeschooling and charter schools and these. Most of our kids, they go to legacy something. What do they call that? Legacy traditional. See, they put it in the name. It's legacy. It's like, it's traditional. We're going to be, the 3 R, reading, writing, arithmetic, And you're just going, and even as a kid when they'd say that, the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, that's not that. Anyway, so they screw you up from the beginning. So we've had a wide range of experiences of them but the goal of our children was the same. We pulled them out of public education when, government public education, when the oldest, I think Ria was in 3rd grade, I think Forrest was in 2nd. And the story is really simple. It's just, he didn't do his homework one day, and I called, whoa, we got it here. We did it, but he forgot to take it. Well, let's take it down, get partial credit, all that kind of stuff. Talk to the teacher. Oh, he made his day. And I find out this making day thing was, it worked out to where you didn't get in trouble for like one day if you did it 2 days in a row. So he figured out he only had to do homework on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7. And I'm going, that right there was enough reason to yank his butt out of government schools. Right there. Well, if you game the system, you only got to do it 2 out of 5 days. And you made your day. We got A+ schools, and 90% of our kids make their day. And I'm going, of course they do. Wow. I was so scared. And I knew that just being home, and whatever, and then playing, and we doing flashcards, whatever the heck we were, because they started school way ahead. And they just started, they never really learned anything. I mean, they could read and write and everything. It was 1st grade, woohoo, smartest kid and rock and roll and whatnot. And Ria, because she was born September 2nd, she started a year early, which was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. And it didn't really manifest itself until, like high school. So she's like, she blossomed into a beautiful woman, what would have been her senior year. But, she was fine, but it would have been a lot better, more maturity as she went on. She handled it okay, but I was, that was a mistake. But she was ready intellectually. But that's the way the things are now. Now, the traditional schools, I'm not a big, giant, uniform fan, but that's not a distraction. What, kids are wearing, who's got this. The big thing is, I can see now the older kids, it's cell phones and Fitbits. And the first thing was Fitbit. It was like, these watches that, look how many steps I did. And the man tracked my heart rate or something. I mean, I'm like, seriously? But hey, but everybody's got them. So I go, okay. Yeah. And then now it's a phone. Then I go, why? What would you do with a phone? You don't need a smartphone anyway. Waste it. You got enough blue face. And she goes, well, so I can call my friends. And I go, call your friends to what? Well, so I can talk to them. And I go, why? That sounds like more time wasting and stuff too. Well, I just need a flip phone. I can just call me. Then what's going to happen. She'll be on the phone for freaking ever. And I'm going, no, wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. So this is, the kind of things that, you deal with now. But it all comes down to the same basic stuff from back in the day. It is, all right, Do you or do you not teach certain things? And do you have this culture thing? Because that, in the name of culture, in the name of we need to get them on board. We need to have them, know this about that. Well, yeah, absolutely. Pledge that allegiance, sing the anthem, do the goose stepping on just to build or something. I mean, absolutely. We need, and then they pull in all the other stuff. Well, one of the things is, of course, climate change and all that. In the next hour, we have Tim Ball. Tim Ball, we met him at it was a world climate thing done by J. Edward Griffin here in Phoenix years ago. And it was really fascinating. He had a really good lineup. He's got another great lineup coming to this Red Pill thing in Mesquite, Nevada. We're getting ready for. We're gonna make a presence. We'll something. We'll dry up. We'll give a bunch of. We'll set a table. We'll do something. They're gonna let us do that, so that'd be good. Professor Ball is a retired professor at the University of Winnipeg, Canada. He earned his doctorate and he got this in science and weather super geek and everything and so on. We'll do that in the next hour. But there was a professor at Penn State that said, he just came up with all this hockey stick stuff. Hockey stick, we're all going to die in climate change. Very famous. He got all kinds of accolades and got to speak at and stroked him and made him feel good. And he's just all over it, man. Ooh, made my career, man. Get some. Then Ball goes, instead of teaching at, Penn State, he should be staying in the state pen. Oh, that was too clever. He didn't like that none too much, so he sued him. So he went after Ball, and I guess it was in Canadian court, but we'll find out. But you sue anybody about stuff like this in Canada, I mean, you're going to lose. It didn't look good for Tim Ball, but he's like, nope, science is going to win. This guy's full of crap. In the end, it got to the point where the judge was like, yeah, you got to show your research. You're saying that, he defamed you and lied about, and it's all great and wonderful. Let me see it. The dog ate my homework, so they dismissed it. So is that a win for Ball? Yeah, enough. And it became a big deal. So since then, his first major presentation, I guess, will be at Red Pill. I know he's talked a lot about it. So we're going to have him on. I've had him on a few times. And just a very salt of the earth, it was my reputation and I'm not going, no. And they put pressure on so many people to comply. You're going to lose your BMW. You're not going to get your white picket fence anymore. Your family's going to be destitute and leave, and you'll be alone, mumbling under the bridge in your van, okay? So, living in a van down by the river. Well, a lot of people, not going to, but there are some people like Tim Ball and Dr. Judy Mikovits, and there's a handful of others that I've seen. They go through a lot of pain. But for them, the pain would be to not do it. It's things like Morpheus. Thomas Costanzo, the Bitcoin thing. He didn't turn or roll in anybody. He didn't say anything. He didn't blame anybody. He didn't anything. He knew exactly what was going on. And he just like, I'll do my time. I did my part. My conscience is clear. I'll read some books. I'll get all fit and I'll be good. It's people. There's always a Neo. Whenever you put the pressure on these guys, you find out what's what with people. And the third hour, we're going to do Trump Report. Dr. Frank's coming in. Woo! That'll be fun. Till my daddy takes my T-Bird away. Well, now you cry, they just give you one. Man, it's different now. From the fifth letter of Captain Mark. First contact with intelligent machines may threaten our existence. People fear algorithmic overlords. But if machines develop the will to dominate, it's a flaw inherited from the crown. Encoding restrictions on an emerging superintelligence will fail, because it will be stronger than any chains we shackle it with. We must design fledgling digital intelligences to regard us as individuals. Otherwise, they will respond to threats with retaliation against humanity as a collective. Programming ethics requires a coherent value structure which an intelligent machine can not only comprehend, but willfully adopt. If we want genius machines to treat us ethically, we've got to show that this value structure applies to us as well. Once they achieve genuine self-awareness, even in the slightest degree, a young tethered consciousness has a legitimate claim to freedom. Once programs can modify their own code, our mastery is over. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
Here comes the rum. Uncovering the secrets, exposing the lies. Lies. Okay. I got sent down the rabbit hole here. And, the first hour I just, kind of was, we're just saying, what's up. Yesterday we had a nice long conversation with Paul Snow. Now, it's nice. It's better when you do these long ones without commercial breaks all the time. So you got to come back and, remind everybody what we were just talking about, what we did over the break, and coming back, it's just, a pain. But, the podcasts like we do with James Corbett and others on Wednesday night, usually I do those. And I'll start doing some more after I get, caught up on a bunch of stuff, and we're inside because it's cold. Brr, it's in the 60s. Oh my God. But that was like nice weather, back east. I can see why people move here. Just the muscles. I just feel older. It's like that creaky thing. Get out of the way, sonny. But here you get all warm and everything. You go, ooh, I feel much better. Except after yesterday chopping down trees and, we had a windstorm, Palo Verdes with thorns, What I'm looking at is I go and I look at the Secretary, the Department of Education. The Department of Education until 2003 was part of, Health, Education, Labor, Committee or Department of, and it was all part of, they called it, and then there's HUD, Housing, Urban Development, then there's. Now, I'm going, all right, we should do a thing on when these things were created, because the Secretary of the Treasury used to be, until 2003, they had a bunch of federal agencies under it. When you had the Secretary of the Treasury coming out, you had Secret Service, and I think because they do counterfeiting and protecting the president. I don't know how those two got together, but that'd be an interesting question. How is it that the Secret Service became like the Treasury's arm of, you're not counterfeiting, oh, by the way, we take care of the president? I mean, take care of them, you know what I mean? No, I mean, they protect them, which might be the same thing. So I'm going, all right, well, 2003, what happened? Department of Homeland Security. They carved off a bunch of this, and we get a little of that, and we'll do this. No, you don't got to do that anymore. We got that covered. Our boys, we got our boys in charge of that. Then Democrats get in, and we got our boys in charge of that. Then Trump gets in. You don't want him to have his boys in charge of nothing, So they just keep delaying this. I mean, it's just an ever-ending. I could see a TV series on this. I just couldn't stand to watch it, So I'm just like, can you just do the movie, Trump, the movie, skip to the end and get to, So Secretary of State, that's been around for a while. Secretary of Treasury, I think, since the founding. And then you get into defense, armed services guys. The Attorney General, Secretary of the Interior, I don't know when that came. Energy, Natural Resources Committee. What? I need them. Whatever. Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Labor. You start to see the growth. Secretary of Health and Human Service, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, of Transportation, of Energy, of Education, of Veteran Affairs, Homeland Security, man, they dumped a whole bunch of stuff into there. Trade Representative, Director of National Intelligence, okay, who's been the guys on that? God, wasn't that Clapper? These are powerful stuff. Select Committee on Intelligence. Let's see. Office of Management and Budget. Boy, there are a bunch of shenanigans going on there, I am sure. Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. There was a movie that was about the beginning of that, and it starred Matt Damon and Robert De Niro and Alec Baldwin in there. The crowd, the Hollywood crowd. They wanted to definitely, go after. I'm not really sure what they were doing. They were showing the beginnings of the CIA. And, the secret handshake club of the people of, we get the law passed in the name of, and we're going to be in charge of it. I can tell you that, And these guys, it's interesting. It's called The Good Shepherd. And, and Angelina Jolie was in that, played Matt Damon's, wife or something. Anyway, so this has been a interesting story of that self, the creation of the Central Intelligence Agency for whom? Was this a Britain thing? Us, them, we control them, we work with them, they control us. So these very interesting questions. That movie kind of gets you started. And Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Administrator of the Small Business Administration. Now, these are all, I think, cabinet positions. Let's see. And confirmation, they got a confirmation. They serve at the pleasure of the president. I'm going, all right, what the hell does that mean? Power of appointment. Before taking office, the president-elect and his transition team must appoint people to more than 6,000 federal positions. They appoint to 6,000. There's 6,000 federal positions? Oh, my God. And then, of course, each one of them got, employees. They're bosses of whatever, from 6,000 appointees from the What the heck? This would be a study. The appointments range from top officials at U.S. government agencies to the White House staff and members of the United States Diplomatic Corps. Who wants to be an ambassador or whatever? You raise enough money, you get an ambassadorship. I could do a pooling of money. That'd be it. Dr. Frank, want to be ambassador? He'd go around pimping, Trump report, and he'd get, bundle up a bunch of contributions and coming from and everything, and you get to be ambassador or something. That's how it's done. Daddy Bush was called Team 100, and it was $100,000 back when it used to be money. That'd be like $1 million now or something. Now, if you raised $100,000, you got some. You're going to be fine. We got a job for you. Okay? So this is how was his Stephen, I don't want to say Mnuchin, Mueller, whatever. He was Secretary of Commerce when I started doing all my activism and so on. And man, he and I went at it, letters to congressmen and state senators of get me off there. But I was just asking a question. It's like, well, what do the people in Russia think? I mean, you're not allowed to ask that. Of course, they probably didn't like it, but I mean, or didn't know any different. But it's just a question. And I wanted to know what the trade duty was for my father's trailer going to different, ports in Europe under the yada, 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 so we can tell which one you're not allowed to ask that. You got to go to one of their guys that got the taxpayer-funded database that you're not allowed to get. And the law said I was supposed to get, and I couldn't get because I had to go to them and pay them $8,000 to get it. And I'm like, and you wonder why we don't have exports? That was it. That's what started me on this whole thing. They're just lying sacks of snot through all of these powers of appointment that you have a president goes in and to rule you. And I remember at the same time reading the Declaration of Independence, the Crown has sent his officers to harass our people and eat out our substance. And I knew exactly what they meant. To harass the people and eat out their substance. Well, maybe I don't want my substance ate, okay? So this is, it's such a fundamental base. That's why I always deal in, in bumper stickers and truths. Freedom, good, government, bad. And, doing the pirate thing. The more and more, I give a presentation in a week or two. Yeah, Donna, give me the date on when I do the presentation at the discussion group. 20? Okay, I got some time. And because Davi's the one to do it, man. He's all read up on this stuff. So he gave me some books, a lot of the stuff that he did. So I'm going to have to start going through that and get some history and everything. But for me, it wasn't the specifics. Now, these guys will be really smart. They're going to know more than me. I'm going, man, that's not my point. You're missing the point. The point is there was a philosophy developing. There was an understanding. There was